Chapter 1838. Sima Yue looked at Yu Qi and Yu Fei. Their temperaments were quite similar. They were both gentle and elegant in front of others. But as for the real situation, it was estimated that only those who knew them would know. Is this the rumored future 7th princess consort? Yu Fei turned his gaze to Xiao Ruobai. She is indeed a lovely person. Yu Qi did not deny it, which meant that he acquiesced to his words. Xiao Ruobai bowed to him and said lightly, "Little prince, you misunderstood. I am not the future 7th princess consort." Is that so? Then I was wrong. Please don't take offense. The smile on Yu Fei's face was a little unnatural, and he apologized for his behavior. Sima Yue curled her lips. Although this guy was apologizing, he was very happy to see Yu Qi's gloomy face. Murong Hui said that Yu the Great and Wang Ye intended to pass the throne to this little prince. Now it seemed that this little prince was not very good. The eldest prince and the second prince are here. Someone said. The entrance was noisy again. A man with a big belly and a thin man came in from the entrance. Yu Fei and Yu Qi looked at the people who came and bowed together. Eldest brother, second brother. You are here too. Everyone is here this year. The eldest prince Yu Lu laughed. You two came early this year. I don't know if the other brothers will come. The second prince Yu Yen smiled. Perhaps because of his poor health, his smile looked a little pale and weak. They should come. Yu Qi said, "Since we are here, let's take a seat first. Staying here will hinder others. Let's go." Yu Lu, Yu Qi and Yu Fei walked in front, and the second prince Yu Yen walked in the back. Sima Yue looked at the second prince who was ignored by everyone and asked Murong Hui, "Father, what about this second prince?" Second prince? Murong Hui glanced at Yu Yen and said, "He was born to a concubine of Wang Ye. That concubine was not very strong herself, and there was no strong force behind her. She died not long after giving birth to the second prince. Because Wang Ye liked that concubine very much, he protected the second prince well and let him grow up smoothly. However, the second prince has been in poor health since he was young, so it was impossible for him to inherit the throne. Therefore, everyone gradually neglected him and allowed him to live until now." Sima Yue looked at Yu Yen. His pale face was abnormally red from coughing. Sensing her probing, he turned to look at her, smiled at her, and turned back to chat with the first prince. This second prince. Sima Yue tapped her fingers on her knee and said with interest, What are you thinking about?" Murong Hui looked at her and asked. "Nothing." Sima Yue smiled. "Yes, you must be careful during the competition. I heard that the rules have changed this time. It is no longer a matter of stopping, but life and death are ruled by fate." Murong Hui said. Suddenly changing the rules? I think it should be the princess's idea. She should have gotten the news that you are going to participate in the competition and changed it for you. Murong Hui said. Sima Yue smiled sarcastically and said, "She wants to deal with me like this? She is too naive. In short, be careful." Murong Hui urged. "I know, father." Sima Yue said. Yu Yen and Yu Lu talked for a while. When the others were talking, he seemed to inadvertently look in the direction of Sima Yue. "Second brother, don't you think so?" Yu Lu's voice pulled his attention back. "Brother Wang is right." Yu Yen responded. "What are you looking at?" Yu Lu saw him looking over there just now. "Who is that woman?" Yu Qi and the others also looked over and saw that it was Sima Yue. "Big brother, she is Murong Shi who killed little uncle. Mother sent a lot of people to kill her, but they all returned without success. Even the Dream Realm ancestor and Double Fiend Black Shadow were killed by her. She is Murong Shi? She looks quite beautiful." Yu Lu saw Sima Yue and touched his chin. "I don't know if I can ask mother to let her come over. I heard that this Murong Shi's appearance is 90% similar to the original Dark Princess. The Dark Princess is peerless, so this Murong Shi naturally looks good." Yu Fei said, "I heard that this face is very troublesome. Brother Wang, it's better not to get into trouble. The more exciting things are, the more exciting it is to do them, isn't it?" Yu Lu smiled evilly. "As long as Brother Wang likes it, you can have anything you want." Yu Qi said, "Mother may be more willing to make you happy than to kill her." "Aha, I think so too. Mother loves me the most." Yu Lu smiled proudly. "If she falls into my hands, I will definitely avenge little uncle, hee. Sima Yue felt a few bad gazes and frowned slightly. A touch of disgust and impatience flashed in her eyes. Xiao Ruobai was a little worried at first, but after seeing her expression, she smiled instead. Looking at her expression, she knew that if they really dared to do this, they would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. But her smile did not last for a few seconds and disappeared again. Her expression was a little painful. Shouldn't she be looking forward to Sima Yue's bad luck? Why should she worry about her? Sima Yue sighed faintly. Young Mississippi Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda came over from their seats. What's the matter? Sima Yue looked at their mysterious appearance and didn't seem to want Murong Hui to know, so she got up and left with them. They came to the last row and Sima Yue looked at them. What's the matter? Young miss, we recognize the person who heard Zi Ping. Fang Yinghan said. Recognized? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Fang Yinghan nodded. You told us that day that if the people who beat us were not from the He family, then they might be the people who have a grudge against us. Those people are very likely to be the contestants. We saw it just now. Are you sure it's them? Sima Yue asked. Those people, even if they turn into ashes, I will still recognize them. Zhang Mingda's eyes were red. Although they were wearing masks at the time, their body shape and their voices were in my mind all the time. Since you're sure, then it's easy. Sima Yue sneered. It just so happens that there are new rules. Life and death are up to fate. You have to seize the opportunity. Should we tell the Duke? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, I will tell father about this. You go and tell the others that if you meet them, don't be merciful. Cripple them. It's time to let them know what an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Previously they bullied Zi Ping with their numbers. Now let's see if they can still be so powerful. Chapter 1839. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Everyone waited for a while, and Wuxia the Great brought the Princess of Great Yu to the competition venue. Wuxia the Great's complexion was very bad, and Sima Yue could tell at a glance that she had not recovered from her serious injuries. The Princess of Great Yu looked dignified and virtuous, and the faint smile at the corner of her mouth made her look amiable in front of everyone. However, Sima Yue knew that under her hypocritical appearance, she had a ruthless heart. The Princess of Great Yu glanced at Sima Yue. The smile at the corner of her mouth did not change, but her eyes became cold. Sima Yue smiled sweetly at her, very proud. The Princess of Great Yu secretly gritted her teeth, and then returned to her usual appearance. He also smiled at Sima Yue, and his smile was full of confidence. No matter how the people she sent to investigate Sima Yue, they only found out about Murongxi. Except for the Black Dragon, there was nothing special. So she should not have any special power. As for the people who were sent to die, they should not have been killed by Sima Yue. Since Yu Shi and the others were here, it was very likely that they did it. She had someone to protect her before, but now that she is going to participate in the competition, no one can protect her. She really didn't expect that she would participate in the competition, giving her such a good opportunity. Later, Wuxia the Great made a speech and the referee explained some rules, and then the competition officially began. The rules of the competition were actually very simple. Black and red notes with numbers written on them, and the two colors with the same number of words would compete so that half of the people would be eliminated, and then they would draw lots to compete again and so on. Contestants, please come up and draw lots. The host said loudly. Sima Yue and Fang Yinghan went to the stage to draw lots. Among so many people, there were very few people from their own county. Sima Yue drew a red lot, Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda both drew black lots, and the three of them staggered. The first 100 contestants, please enter the realm of emptiness. The host said. The realm of emptiness. This year, the realm of emptiness was actually opened. Some county kings were surprised when they heard the name. Sima Yue was not in the first 100 contestants. Seeing those people so surprised, she asked, What is this realm of emptiness? It's a space that can be expanded and shrunk at will. It's a bit like a small world. When the contestants compete in it, they can perform better in terms of space. Moreover, the realm of emptiness is transparent, and the audience present can also see the situation inside. Murong Hui explained. If there is no arena, how? Will the judges follow along? Sima Yue asked again. Murong Yue's so he didn't know. Everyone else is. At this moment, the host above said, Before entering, all of you will have a token. After the realm of emptiness is sealed, it will not open again. This token is the key to your exit. Okay, the first 100 contestants go in. The contestants in the top 100 went to the host to get their talismans. One by one, they entered the realm of emptiness and each chose a space to start the duel. The princess consort of Great Yu was stunned when she heard the host's words, and then said to Wuxia the Great, Wuxia, why didn't you tell me that you changed the rules? We still have to discuss such a big matter. Wuxia the Great coughed twice and said, "It's not a big deal, it's just adding a talisman in. After all, they are all resources of the dynasty, and one of them dying is also a loss to the dynasty. If they die, it can only mean that their skills are not as good as others. Such people will not be of much use to our dynasty. What's the use of having them?" The princess consort of Great Yu snorted coldly. "My dear consort, you care so much about this, are you trying to use this to deal with someone?" Wuxia the Great coughed after saying a few words. "I don't care what you usually do, but when it comes to the future of the dynasty, I can't let you decide." Compared with his usual gentleness and forbearance, Wuxia the Great's words were all very heavy, causing the princess consort, who was used to being strong, to be stunned for a moment. However, seeing that he was so determined and on such an occasion, she could only swallow the rest of her words. So what if there was this rule? Then she wouldn't have the time to come out. The first 200 people all went in, and the host asked people to close the realm of emptiness, and all the people inside began to fight. "It's already started? It seems that we are a little late." Lang Yu's voice came from the air, and when everyone looked over, 2 people had already appeared there. When the Great Yu royal family saw the 2 of them, they all stood up to greet them, and when the others saw this, they all stood up as well. Wuxia the Great apologized. "I didn't know that the great envoy would come, so I didn't greet you, please forgive me." "No need, we came by ourselves." Lang Yu waved his hand. "Then please sit down, both of you." Wuxia the Great left his seat with the princess consort. The most honorable seats here were the 2 of them. "No need, we can find our own seats." "You," she said, and in a flash he came to Sima Yoyue's side. "Yes, Wuxia, you can continue. We are here to cheer for our niece, you don't have to worry about us." Lang Yu also came to Sima Yoyue's side and stood on both sides with Yu Shi, staring at Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda. The 2 of them were stared at until they felt goosebumps all over their bodies, and they quickly moved aside. Lang Yu took out a handkerchief and wiped it before sitting down. After they sat down, Wuxia the Great led everyone to sit down and continue to watch the competition. Sima Yue rolled her eyes and asked, Uncle Yu, do you need to come here in such a high-profile manner? When has your Uncle Yu ever kept a low profile?" Lang Yu returned her an arrogant chin. "How about it, what's your number?" Sima Yue gave him her number. Seeing her number, Lang Yu laughed out loud. 250, you are actually 250. Ah, why did you draw such a number? Do you have to laugh so happily? Sima Yue glared at him, snatched her number back and threatened, "If you laugh again, do you believe that I will make you laugh until you can't stop? You don't have to be so ruthless, do you?" Lang Yu thought of her poisons, immediately stopped laughing and looked at her warily. It was not that he was afraid of her, but that even he could not find an antidote for her poisons. If he was really poisoned, then he would definitely laugh for 2 days and 2 nights before he stopped. Sima Yue gave him a look that said, "You can try," and continued to watch the competition in the realm of emptiness. She did not notice that the princess consort of Great Yu winked at the person on the sidelines. The person nodded and quietly left the place. Chapter 1840. The realm of emptiness was a transparent space, and people outside could see the situation inside clearly. The people outside could clearly see who used what underworld skill, who hurt their opponent, and who had the upper hand in the duel. Less than 10 minutes into the battle, the first casualty appeared. Sima Yue looked at the corpse that was teleported out and sighed for him. An early-stage underworld sect cultivator meeting an early-stage underworld emperor. Brother, your luck is really indescribable. The winner crushed the talisman and also left the realm of emptiness. He did not even look at the corpse on the ground and went straight to the registration office to register. What a cold-blooded and arrogant person. Sima Yue sighed. Reaching the emperor of the underworld at such a young age, you do have the right to be arrogant. However, I don't like this kind of person. Just don't let him fall into my hands. Lang Yu snorted. He didn't have a good impression of this person. I saw it just now. His attacks are fast and ruthless. If someone of the same level as him were to fight against him, it would be a tough battle. Sima Yue analyzed. What about you? Are you confident if you meet him? Yushi asked. If I can't do it, my beasts can too. Sima Yue said. You can't rely too much on spirit beasts. I know, so I have more things to rely on. Do you want to try? Sima Yue tilted her head and smiled at her. That's enough. I think yours is pretty good too. Anyway, it's a good way to win when you're fighting with others. Lang Yu said. When he saw Yushi laughing, he complained, What are you laughing at? You and her are jackals of the same tribe. Thanks for the compliment. Where's your face? Lang Yu rolled his eyes at him and turned his head. When he saw the person coming in from the entrance, he muttered, "Why is he here?" Sima Yue followed his gaze and saw Mo Ji and Yuan Yen walking over. "Sorry we're late. Something happened before I came out." Yuan Yen apologized to Sima Yue. "It's okay," Sima Yue said. Lang Yu stared at Mo Ji. "The young master of the Mo clan is also here. Where is your ancestor?" "The old ancestor's whereabouts are erratic. I don't know either," Mo Ji said. "I heard that the rules have changed this time. How is it?" Yuan Yen asked. "Let's sit down and talk." Sima Yue gestured, and Fang Yinghan, who had just retreated to the side, stood up again to give up their seats. Mrs. Friends were all existences that they could not afford to offend. It was better for them to sit further away. When Diyu, Wang Ye and the others saw Mo Ji coming over, they were shocked again. They wanted to come over to greet him, but they were stopped by a look from him. "When did this Murongshi get together with the young master of the Mo clan?" Diyu Wang Ye asked the princess consort. "The last time the Mo clan's young master and the Yuan clan's young master went to Vast City, they seemed to know her, and their relationship seems to be good." The princess consort of Great Yu pinched her fingers, secretly hating that Murongshi was so lucky to have hooked up with the young master of the Mo clan. She killed her little brother, and Yuan Yen actually brought her to put pressure on her, and he actually agreed. This forced her to not be able to do anything to Murongshi for the past 2 years. Now that he came over at this time, it must be to protect her safety. As long as she enters the realm of emptiness, they can't protect her. Soon after, another group of contestants had their results. This time it was also one dead and one alive. It's just that the one who was alive this time didn't get any benefits. It's just the beginning and 2 have already died. I don't know what will happen later. Fang Yinghan sighed. With the new rules, these people will definitely want to weaken the strength of other counties as much as possible. In the past, those who were not chosen by the dynasty would become the power of the county. Now that others have lost a little more, they will become stronger. Yuan Yen sighed. Actually, this is quite good. Lang Yu said, "In this world, the survival of the fittest is everywhere, only the strong can survive. Those who die can only blame themselves for not being as good as others. The other dynasties have always been like this, only our Great Yu dynasty has started from this session. I think, since it has started, it may continue to be like this. It can only be said that the ghost realm is too cruel." Sima Yue sighed. "Won't the competition in the human world determine life and death?" Lang Yu asked her with his eyes. "I heard that in the human world, those people's competitions are generally not that serious," Sima Yue said. "Survival in the ghost realm has always been much crueler than the other 2 realms. Yushi said, this place has to accept the souls of the other 2 realms. If not many people died, then the ghost realm would have been crowded. It's your first time participating in this kind of competition and seeing these things for the first time. You have to slowly get used to it in the future." "I know, uncle," Sima Yue said. She understood what Yushi meant. The ghost realm was like this and she had to get used to it. As time passed, the first 100 groups ended one after another. Sima Yue counted that 48 people had died. 40 people crushed their own talismans at the critical moment, and the remaining 12 people took the initiative to admit defeat. It seemed that in the end, everyone realized that if they didn't admit defeat, they would only end up dead, so everyone would make a choice in the face of danger. And those county kings could also accept it. Losing a little face was better than losing a group of future backbone forces. When the first 100 groups were over, the host let the 101 to 200 enter. With the experience of the first batch, everyone admitted defeat early when they saw that they couldn't beat them, so the speed of this batch was much faster than before. Look at this speed, you will go to the competition in a while. You have to be careful of the princess's tricks. Yuan Yen said. You're not afraid of being known by her when you talk on such an occasion. Sima Yue said. When I saw Emoji, I understood why I was so aggrieved as a young master. Since it's already like this, I don't need to curry favor with her. Yuan Yen said. If he hadn't taken Emoji to intercede for Sima Yue, the princess would not have put pressure on the Yuan family. So now, even if he became the young master, he was restricted everywhere. After entering the realm of emptiness, we can't come to your side in the first place. Are you ready? Emoji asked. Sima Yue nodded. Don't worry, I will work hard for our agreement. Agreement? What agreement? What did you promise this guy? Lang Yu heard their conversation and came over to ask. I'll tell you, these people from the Mo clan are all bad under the leadership of that guy Mou. Don't promise anything and sell yourself. I will bring this to the old ancestor. Emoji stared at Lang Yu and said faintly. Lang Yu was startled by Emoji's gaze, thinking that this guy was still young now, but when he gets old he will definitely be the same as Emoji. Uncle Yu, don't worry, I won't sell myself even if I sell you. Sima Yue smiled. The number is called over there, I'll go first. After that, she got up and walked to the gathering point of the third batch of players. Chapter 1841. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up windows free to read. The third batch of people had almost gathered. They showed their numbers to the referee, and the referee grouped the people with the same number into a group and asked them to wait at the side. Number 250, Murong Shi from Vast Region. Sima Yue put her number on the table for the referee to see. A slender hand put a piece of paper beside her number, and it also had the number 250 written on it. Sima Yue turned to look at him and he returned her a cold gaze. Enjoy your last moments. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Declaration of war? But she was not afraid. These words should be for you. She turned and left after saying that. Shameless boasting. The man stared at her, looking at her as if he was looking at a cold corpse. Sima Yue turned back to look at him, the corners of her mouth raised, and then turned back to the waiting area. Not long after, the second batch of people finished competing. This time was better than the last time, but 38 people still died. 201 to 300, go in. The host shouted. Sima Yue got up and went to the host to get a talisman, and then entered the realm of emptiness with the others. When she was outside she was quite curious about the realm of emptiness, not knowing what it was like inside. After entering she found that it was just an ordinary space, but the area was bigger. She found a more remote space, and the other party flew over, indicating that he was already above the underworld sect. The man did not even call out his underworld beast and took out a long sword, looking down at her from above. Let me deal with you, I'll take advantage of you. You're not number 250, right? Sima Yue said with certainty. What does it matter if I am or not? Your opponent now is me. You should know that. The man said. Is that so? Then I don't need to ask for your name. Sima Yue summoned black lava and jumped onto its back. She flew into the air and confronted him. Because you're going to be a dead man soon. There's no need for people to remember your name. When the man saw her call He Yen out, he also called out his own underworld beast. It was an underworld Een wolf, which was already at the level of divine beast. It was even more powerful than the underworld Een wolves in the Moon Creek Valley. It seemed that the other prefectures were indeed much more powerful than Vast Prefecture since they could casually take out a divine beast. However, in front of He Yen you have to restrain your aura. He Yen, let's not play. Let's end this quickly. Sima Yue said. It was still too early for him to reveal too much of his strength. He Yen understood what she meant. He smiled and said, I like it the most. Eat my tail. It swung its tail over and slapped the underworld Een wolf's body, slapping it from the air to the ground and turning it into a pool of flesh and blood. Wolf. The man yelled, condensing his spiritual energy to attack He Yen. Chi. He Yen snorted contemptuously, opened its wings and with a gentle flap, blew away his spiritual energy. Then it quickly flew to the opposite side and grabbed the man, ignoring him as he slashed his claws with a sword. Really, what kind of cat or dog comes to kill my contractor? Be careful in the future, don't be used as a tool. After that, he tore the man in half with his 2 claws. As soon as his claws loosened, his body fell down. Before he reached the ground he was teleported out. Then, Sima Yue and He Yen also went out. From the time she went in to the time she came out, the whole process was less than 5 minutes. She was the first person to come out so quickly. Good job. Lang Yu was the first to shout out and cheer for her. Then the people of Vast Prefecture also cheered. Sima Yue waved at them and then went to the referee to register. The referee was shocked when he saw her. He stared at her for a while, unable to regain his senses. Please register for me, Sima Yue said. The referee then came back to his senses, wrote a sentence on the register and announced, Number 250 Murong Shi of Vast Prefecture wins. Sima Yue saw that he was done and turned back to the rest area of Vast Prefecture. Miss, you are so amazing. Miss, you are really my idol. The people of Vast Prefecture all came up and surrounded her. She won so quickly, which gave the people of Vast Prefecture a lot of encouragement. Sima Yue was surrounded by them and couldn't come out. When Murong Hui came over, those people moved aside. Not bad. Murong Hui was also very happy. Sima Yue turned back and saw Gongzi Yuan, who she hadn't seen for a long time. She walked over and came to Gongzi Yuan, smiled and said, "Gongzi Yuan, long time no see." "Yes, long time no see, you really made me look at you with new eyes." Gongzi Yuan was shocked by Sima Yoyue's performance today. "I didn't expect you to be so powerful in just over a year." "He Yin is more powerful." Sima Yue smiled and said, "What's your number?" "I went in the last 2 batches." Gongzi Yuan said, "I just came yesterday. When the competition is over today I will find you and we will get together." "Eh." Sima Yue nodded. I have something to tell you tonight." Murong Hui heard their conversation and came over to say. Sima Yue was a little surprised. She didn't hear him say anything before. Why did he come over at this time? However, she still nodded and looked at Gongzi Yuan apologetically. "I'm sorry, it's okay. Then let's get together later." Gongzi Yuan said. "Okay." Rua Bai Shi. Gongzi Yuan saw Xiao Rua Bai sitting next to Yu Qi and stopped talking. "I will tell you later." Speaking of Xiao Rua Bai, her heart was also very bitter. In Eternal Brilliant City, Xiao Rua Bai had gone through life and death with her several times, but Gongzi Yuan saw her like this and knew what happened in the middle, so he could only nod. At this time someone called him. He said to Sima Yue, "Then we will contact each other later." Then he walked towards the person who called him. She returned to the rest area and watched other people's competitions with everyone. In other resting areas and audience seats, everyone was discussing her competition. "This Murong Shi, isn't she a waste? She actually won so quickly." Eldest Prince Yulu said. "Eldest brother, she doesn't have much strength, but she does have a black dragon. Little uncle was killed by this black dragon." Yu Qi said, "But I didn't expect it to become so powerful in just 2 years. Little uncle was actually killed by this black dragon?" Yulu didn't care about this matter at all. For him, eating, drinking and playing were the most important things. "I think this Murong Shi is nothing. Her strength is this black dragon." Yu Fei didn't take her seriously. "That's not necessarily true. Without ability, how can the black dragon be willing to be her contract beast?" Yu Qi always felt that Murong Shi was not simple, but no matter how he checked, he couldn't find anything wrong. Chapter 1842. Remember in 1 second, Love Divided by You? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Yulu still didn't put Sima Yoyue's strength in his eyes. He looked at her and thought about how to press her under his body. Yu Fei and Yu Qi both felt that Sima Yue was not simple, but the two of them had different ideas. One felt that they could win her over and the other wanted to eradicate her. The first round of the competition took a day. The situation in vast region was not good. 22 out of 30 people were eliminated on the first day, which was far more than the standard of half. Sima Yue and the others returned to the inn. Yu Shi and Lang Yu were called away by some news halfway, and Murong Hui took the people back. "You all have a good rest. Those who advanced in the competition have to recuperate well these 2 days. Don't go out again." Murong Hui said. "Yes, Duke." The contestants dispersed. Sima Yue was also preparing to go back to her room. Murong Hui called out to her, You stay." The others left, but Sima Yue stayed. She thought that Murong Hui said that he had something to do at night was an excuse. Could it be that something really happened? I have something to tell you. Come with me." Murong Hui took her back to her room, closed the door and set up a barrier. Sima Yue saw that he was so cautious. Could it be that he wanted to tell her something secret? I want to ask you to do something. Father didn't ask you to do anything before. This time, please help me this time." Murong Hui looked at her with a dignified expression. It was the first time Sima Yue saw him like this. She said, "What is it?" "As long as I can do it, I will do it." "I want you to treat someone." Murong Hui said. "Is it Wanya?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes." Murong Hui never thought that he could hide it from her. Wanya's health has been delayed for a long time. Because of his poor health, many things can't be dealt with, which allowed the princess to have these forces. "I want you to take a look at him and see if he can be cured." "Okay," Sima Yue replied. "When are we going?" "Now." "Now. You don't need to hide from others?" Sima Yue was a little surprised. If they were going openly, why would they tell her so mysteriously? "Come with me." Murong Hui came to his bedroom, turned over the bed, and a tunnel appeared in front of them. Sima Yue was speechless. Wasn't this an inn? How could there be a tunnel? Murong Hui jumped into the tunnel and motioned for Sima Yue to follow him. After entering the tunnel, he explained, "This inn is Wanya's secret force. Sima Yuyu's little mouth opened slightly. She was shocked by this news. It wasn't because this inn belonged to Wang Ye, but because this place was occupied by people from vast region. My father has always been loyal to Wang Ye. Murong Hui was not as surprised as she was and explained, this secret passage was dug so that the people who live here can secretly see His Highness. So, this secret tunnel leads directly to the Wangfu. Sima Yue said. No, this is a courtyard that leads to Wang Ye. It's for him to rest. That's the only place where the princess can't get involved. Murong Hui explained, however there are still many people watching outside. We can only use this method to get in. The two walked for a while and saw a staircase, so they slowly went up. Murong Hui knocked on the top of their head 3 times, then twice, then 3 more times. Clang! The floor above their head opened and Sima Yue saw the dim light. Prince Murong, you're here. Wang Ye has been waiting for a long time. The person who opened the floor said. I see. Murong Hui came out of the tunnel, followed by Sima Yue. The people waiting here were a little surprised to see Sima Yue. They didn't expect that when Murong Hui said he would bring someone, this person would be her. This is Wang Ye's personal guard, Guard Gao Yi. Murong Hui introduced. Sima Yue saluted Gao Yi. Please come with me. Gao Yi was told to wait for Murong Hui and bring the people he brought, so he didn't delay and took them to Wang Ye the Great. Is Wang Ye in the hot spring? Murong Hui asked. Yes, today is the day to soak in the hot spring. After the competition, Wang Ye has been in the hot spring. Gao Yi said. After walking for a while, they came to a delicate courtyard with 2 open-air hot springs. One person was soaking in the hot spring. Greetings to Wang Ye, second prince. I didn't expect second prince to be here too. Murong Hui didn't expect second prince Yu Yan to be here too. He was stunned for a moment and saluted the 2 of them. Sima Yue also saluted. Both Yu Wangye and Yu Yan didn't expect that the person Murong Hui brought would be a woman, so they ordered to bring her here directly. Now they were naked in front of a junior, which made the 2 people in the hot spring uncomfortable for a moment. Yu Yan sank his body into the water. Yu Wangye quickly calmed down from the awkwardness and said, Murong, didn't you say you would bring a doctor? Why did you bring your daughter here? Back to Wangye, she is the doctor I mentioned. Murong Hui replied. The Prince of Great Yu looked at Sima Yu with some uncertainty. He was very gentlemanly and did not finish his sentence. Yes. My daughter used to learn some medical skills and has some achievements. She has some research on difficult and complicated diseases. Murong Hui said. Ahem, in that case take her to the side hall, we'll be there in a while. Yu Wangye said. Yes, Wangye. Sima Yue actually wanted to say that since you are wearing it now, you will have to take it off later. But she didn't want to say such bold words. She followed Murong Hui to the side hall, and after a while the princess consort of Great Yu and Yu Yan came over together. Sima Yue looked at Yu Yan and thought that Yu Wangye really doted on him. He actually allowed him to come here and participate in the things he did. Was this sick guy really a prince who stood aloof from worldly affairs? Murong, you know, I have seen many doctors for this injury, but none of them have recovered. Even the imperial doctors can't do anything about it. Yu Wangye said. Wangye, you can let my daughter take a look. What if it works? Murong Hui didn't say anything. Wangye, I want to take your pulse first to see your condition. Sima Yue said. Yu Wangye only hesitated for 2 seconds before he stretched out his hand. Sima Yue stepped forward and naturally sat next to him. She put her fingertips on his wrist and began to take his pulse. Both Yu Wangye and Yu Yan looked at her at this time. She was calm and was very different from the legendary trash. However, from the expressions of the 2, they didn't have much hope for her. Only Murong Hui believed that she could do it. After a while, Sima Yue withdrew her hand and said lightly, the other hand. Yu Wangye stretched out his other hand. Sima Yue just took it for a while and frowned. Chapter 1843. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. What's wrong? Murong Hui looked at her and knew that there was something wrong with her. Wangye was injured before and used forbidden medicine, right? Sima Yue asked. Yu Wangye was secretly shocked. She could tell that he had taken forbidden medicine just by taking his pulse? Look at Wangye's expression. Sima Yue said. At that time, Wangye was dying and had to use forbidden medicine to save his life. Murong Hui said. Then why didn't he use it after saving his life? Sima Yue asked. If he stopped using the medicine early, it wouldn't be like this. The doctor said that once the medicine is taken, it can't be stopped. Yu Yan said. Father had been restraining and reducing it and finally stopped using it. Sima Yue was startled and said, "Oh." Everyone was confused by her reaction. What did she mean by, "Oh"? Sure? This forbidden medicine can be stopped. It's just that you don't know the method. Sima Yue said. But it's useless to say this now. Is it because of the use of forbidden medicine that he can't get better? Murong Hui asked. That's only one reason. Sima Yue said. Although Wang Ye has stopped using forbidden medicine now, there are still residues in his body. These residues must be discharged before we can proceed with the next step. It can be discharged? Dayu Wangye and Yu Yan were very surprised. But those doctors said that this will stay in the body for a lifetime. That's other doctors. Sima Yue said. Only useless people use forbidden medicine to save their lives. Hearing her words, the three of them twitched the corners of their mouths. These words were enough to attract hatred. So you have a way? Yu Yan asked. There is a way, but the process is a bit troublesome. Well, it's also a bit painful. Sima Yue said. As long as there is a way. Murong Hui heard her say this and knew that there was no problem. Don't be happy so soon. I need some things. It's useless if you don't have them. Sima Yue said. What do you need? Sima Yue took out a pen and paper and quickly wrote down a list. Dayu Wangye looked at the things she wrote down and his expression was not as relaxed as before. If you can prepare all of these things, the problem of the forbidden medicine will be solved. Sima Yue said, if we can't find it, then we can only control your condition. We can't eradicate it. Can this be controlled? Dayu Wangye asked. Controlling it can only save your life for a few years. Sima Yue said, so it's best to cure it completely. Okay, I'll get someone to look for these things. Yu the Great Wangye called a secret guard over and gave him the list. He instructed, these must be carried out in secret. Yes, Wangye. The secret guard was also in the room just now, so he naturally knew what this list meant. Let me see. Yu Yan said. The guard handed the list to Yu Yan. Yu Yan looked at it and handed it to him before he left. Yu Yan saw Sima Yue looking at him inquisitively and smiled. I didn't expect Miss Murong to be so powerful. I wonder if you can take a look at my body? Your body is not sick or in pain. There's no need for me to take a look at anything. Sima Yue said, I still have to give Wangye acupuncture. As soon as these words came out, Murong Hui was surprised. Dayu Wangye and Yu Yan were shocked. Second Prince he. Murong Hui looked at Sima Yue and then looked at Yu Yan. He felt that this was a bit too much information. Cough cough, you didn't even show me. How do you know that I'm fine? Yu Yan said. Sima Yue walked over and grabbed his wrist, saying, on the surface your blood is insufficient, your pulse is weak and your body is empty. In fact, your body is very healthy. However, taking too much medicinal stone powder is not good for your body. Yu Yan was really shocked this time. He looked at Sima Yue as if he was looking at a monster. How did you know? I'm a doctor. Sima Yue said, when I saw you this morning, I felt that you looked a bit strange. I didn't expect you to use medicinal stone powder. That's amazing. No one knows about Yen or using medicinal stone powder except for him and me. I didn't expect you to be able to tell just by taking his pulse. After Dayu Wangye was surprised, he was more happy. Since she was so powerful, there might really be hope for his body. Wangye, before those things are found, I have to give you acupuncture to suppress your injury. Sima Yue said, the method of soaking in the hot spring every few days has little effect. It's really not advisable. However, the effect of acupuncture will be good. Acupuncture? How do you do it? Dayu Wangye asked. You'll know when you get there. Sima Yue said. So the four of them went to the hot spring again and drove all the maids and guards out. Wangye, take off your clothes and go into the water. Sima Yue said as she waved her hand. A stone stool in the courtyard was rolled over and placed in the water. Dayu Wangye went down and sat on the stone stool, revealing his upper body. Dayu Wangye was a little unnatural, but he still took off his clothes and sat on the stone stool. Sima Yue looked at Yu Yan and Murong Hui. In the end, she chose Murong Hui and said, Father, go down with me and help me. What do you want me to do? Murong Hui asked. Just help me hold the silver needles. Sima Yue said. Why don't you let me go down? Yu Yan said. Sima Yue glanced at him. She guessed that he might be worried about her and wanted to keep a close eye on her to prevent her from doing anything to Dayu Wangye. So she nodded in agreement. Then let the second prince do it. Sima Yue came to the pool. Yu Yan followed her down and stood beside her. The water in this place was not shallow. It reached Sima Yue's waist and her skirt was all wet. She took out the silver needle box and let Yu Yan hold it. She took out a long needle and inserted it into De Yu Wangye's body. When Yu Yan saw such a long needle, he was a little worried that it would hurt if it pierced into his body. But when he saw that his father had no reaction at all, he knew that he was worried for nothing. Sima Yue did not take a short time to insert the needle. Yu Yan felt that his hand was a little stiff. However, when he saw that her forehead was covered in sweat and she did not make a sound, he suddenly wanted to wipe it for her. He had never seen a woman do things so seriously and so elegantly. After a while, Sima Yue inserted the last needle. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and said, "Okay, it will be very quick to take the needle out later. Thank you for your hard work," Yu Yan said. Sima Yue nodded at him and then asked Wangye, "Wangye, how do you feel?" "The cold feeling in my body is a lot less." "What kind of method is this?" "It's so magical. However, why do I feel that it's getting hotter and hotter?" Chapter 1844. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, web. There are no pop-up windows, it's free to read. It's normal for you. You've always had a cold body, so these needles will open up your meridians and suppress the cold in your body. The effect will be much better than just soaking in the hot spring. Sima Yue said. I see. I didn't expect that just inserting needles into the acupuncture points would have such an effect. De Yu Wangye sighed. It's not that easy. Sima Yue said, choosing the acupuncture points, the order and speed of inserting the needles, the effect will be ever-changing. It's so complicated. Yu Yan said, no wonder your medical skills are so much better than others. The people His Highness is looking for must be very powerful. I just happen to know this. Sima Yue said. But I heard that you don't know anything and don't know how to cultivate. I didn't expect you to be so good. Yu Yan pointed out. You said that it's just a rumor. You've been weak since you were young, but haven't you been fine? That's why you can't believe all the rumors, right? Sima Yue replied. I'm just doing this to protect myself. Yu Yan said helplessly, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't want to treat my body like this. Sima Yue looked at him sympathetically. It was really torturous to be oppressed for so many years. After a while, Sima Yue started to retrieve the needles. She was much faster than when she inserted the needles. With a few swishes, she retrieved all the needles. It's done. She put all the needles back into the box, kept the box, and climbed back to the shore. Father, how are you feeling? Yu Yan asked. Very comfortable. My body hasn't felt so comfortable in many years. De Yu Wangye felt better and was in a good mood. He returned to the shore and put on his clothes. Sima Yue had already dried the water on his clothes. Murong, if I had known that your daughter was so powerful, I would have brought her here earlier. De Yu Wangye looked at Sima Yue gratefully. That way I would have suffered less. This girl hid it very well. I didn't expect her to know these things. Also, Wangye had been looking for a name all this time. I thought they would definitely be better than her. If it wasn't for the fact that the royal doctor couldn't do anything about it the day before yesterday, I wouldn't have remembered her. Murong Hui said. No matter what, I still have to thank you, father and daughter. De Yu Wangye said, Murong Shi, is there anything you want? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, Wangye definitely won't be willing to give me what I want. Forget it. Is that something I already have? Tell me, what is it that I can't bear to give to you? De Yu Wangye waved his long sleeves and said domineeringly, I want the realm of emptiness. Wangye, are you willing to give it to me? Sima Yue tilted her head and stared at him. When De Yu Wangye heard this, he said, You're really making things difficult for me. See, I knew that Wangye wouldn't be willing to give it to me. Sima Yue said. It's not that I can't bear to give it to you, but this space isn't mine at all. De Yu Wangye said, The realm of emptiness isn't an artifact. It's just a folded space. Can you change it to something else? Then I haven't thought of what I want for the time being. Sima Yue wasn't disappointed. If Wangye wants to reward me, wait until I completely heal your injuries before you reward me. Alright. Then you have to think about what you want during this period of time. Otherwise, I'll have to wait for you to go to the warehouse and find it yourself. De Yu Wangye laughed. Wangye, it's best for your injuries to be treated once every 5 days. Our competition happens to be once every 5 days. Then I'll come here every day after the competition to treat you. Sima Yue said. Alright. It just so happens that my hot spring is also once every 5 days. Let's agree to come here. De Yu Wangye said. Wangye, if there's nothing else, we'll go back first. Murong Hui said, We've been out for too long. I'm afraid we'll attract attention. I still have something to tell you. Let Shi'er go back first. Dayu Wangye said. Father, then I'll go back first. Sima Yue said. There are many forks in the tunnel. Do you remember the way we came? Murong Hui said worriedly. I probably remember. When Sima Yue came, she noticed that there were many forks in the road. They should lead to other places. Father, why don't you let me send her back? This way Duke Murong can rest assured. Yu Yen said. That's fine. Murong Hui said, then I'll have to trouble Second Prince. Seeing that they had decided, Sima Yue did not disturb their business and left with Yu Yen. Yu Yen took her to the entrance where they came from. After leaving the door, he looked sick again. It seemed that he had even hidden it from these people. Second Prince. The guard said as he opened the entrance. Yu Yen went down first. Sima Yue followed him down. Yu Yen waited for her to come down and began to walk towards the inn. The two of them chatted on the way. Murongshi, are you really Murongshi? Yu Yen suddenly said. What does Second Prince mean? Sima Yue asked. There has never been a silver needle technique in the ghost realm. Yu Yen said. The world is so big. None of us can know everything. Really? But I happen to know some. I heard that the daughter of the Dark Princess is in the human world. Her silver needle technique is superb. It should be the same as yours, right? Yu Yen said faintly. Really? I don't know about that. Sima Yue did not admit it. Yu Yen stared at her for a while and did not continue to question her. Instead, he nodded lightly and said, I thought you knew something. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't know. Sima Yue did not admit it. If you meet, you can discuss this in the future. Yu Yen said. That's a good idea. Thank you for your suggestion. You're welcome. Second Prince, based on the medical ethics of a doctor, I have to remind you that you can't take this medicinal stone powder anymore. Otherwise, your fake disability will become real disability. Sima Yue said. Thank you for reminding me. I know. If I'm really disabled, I'll have to ask you to treat me. Yu Yen smiled. For people who seek death, my fee is very expensive. Sima Yue said. I'm not looking for death. You should know that. I don't know. In my eyes, this is an act of seeking death. Sima Yue said. Then I can only start to prepare the expensive medical fees. Yu Yen said seriously. Okay. Then I'll reserve a place for you. Sima Yue said. Yu Yen laughed, giving people the feeling that he was very bright. You have to be careful of my brothers. I think they're more harmless than you. Sima Yue said, I'm here. Thank you, Second Prince, for sending me off. Goodbye. With that, she went up the stairs and opened the exit. Yu Yen watched her disappear from the exit. He was not in a hurry to leave. He whispered a name softly. Sima Yue. Chapter 1845. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, web. There were no pop-up windows and it was free to read. There were 5 days between each round of the county competition, so that the contestants could recover from their injuries. Other than staying at the side courtyard of the county prince's mansion for one night, Sima Yue didn't go out for the rest of the time, so those who wanted to cause trouble for her didn't know where to start. In the second round of the competition, there were 1,215 contestants. Because it was an odd number, one contestant would directly advance. The host asked everyone to draw lots, and Sima Yue and Fang Yinghan went over together. Out of all the lots, only one of them has the number 0 written on it. The person who gets the number 0 doesn't need to compete, and will directly advance. The host said, Miss, do you think we'll get the number 0? Zhang Mingda asked with a smile. I think Miss has a higher chance of getting it. As for you, you don't have the luck, so don't even think about it. Fang Yinghan said very brotherly. Tiske, maybe I'll get it. Zhang Mingda raised his chin. No one knows for sure. Anyway, I think you don't have the luck in luck. Fang Yinghan said. You can dream about it. Besides, we're not lucky. Miss has always been very lucky. Zhang Mingda said cheerfully. It's possible for anyone. Sima Yue didn't think that she would get the number 0, her luck. They came to the place where they drew lots, reached into the opaque box to draw their numbers, and then walked over to let the people behind them draw their numbers. Miss, did you get the number 0? Zhang Mingda didn't even look at his number before he went over to Sima Yue and asked. Sima Yue smiled and shook her head, then showed her number to them. It was exactly 600. This number sounded better than 250 last time. Zhang Mingda was a little disappointed. Even he didn't get the number 0, he didn't know who got it. Maybe you got it? Sima Yue said with a smile. I'm not that lucky. Zhang Mingda said and opened her number. 251, which was better than her last number. He waved the note in his hand. See, I told you I'm not that lucky. It's alright, we'll just rely on our strength to advance. Sima Yue patted his shoulder. Zhang Mingda nodded. He looked at Fang Yinghan and asked, What's your number? Fang Yinghan was also paying attention to Sima Yue's number just now, so he didn't look at his own. When Zhang Mingda asked him, he opened his own note and was stunned. What's wrong? What's your number? Zhang Mingda leaned over to look at him. After being stunned for a moment, he patted him on the shoulder and exclaimed, F***ck, what kind of person are you? I don't know. Fang Yinghan said, Am I dreaming? F***ck, you actually got number 0. You're really lucky. Although Zhang Mingda was shouting, his smile was so wide that it almost reached his ears. When Sima Yue heard that Fang Yinghan had drawn number 0, she was slightly surprised and then smiled. That's right. In that case, our county can already confirm that one of us will enter the next level. I don't know what kind of luck I have. Fang Yinghan said happily. Not bad, not bad. Zhang Mingda said, Sigh, but I thought I would be able to draw number 0. How could my luck be with you? You should prepare well with everyone. And then, I will also work hard to advance. Contestant number 0, please report to the referee. The host shouted. Fang Yinghan didn't immediately go over. Instead, he put the note in Sima Yue's hand and said, Miss, you should go. Sima Yue didn't expect him to do this. She returned the note and said, I don't need this. I have Hei Yin, so advancing won't be a problem. Since you're the one who drew it, it's yours. Go quickly. The referee will be waiting anxiously. That's right. Mrs. Hei Yin is better than yours. If you don't want this, you might as well give it to me. Zhang Mingda reached out to take the note. Fang Yinghan took his hand back, rolled his eyes at him, and then went to the referee. This guy, where's the brotherhood? Zhang Mingda snorted. Let's go back. Sima Yue smiled and shook her head. They returned to the rest area. When the people of Vast Region learned that Fang Yinghan had drawn number 0, they were very excited. Good. Our Vast Region will definitely achieve better results this time. Murong Hui said with a smile, You all have to work hard. We will. Several people who had advanced were full of confidence. The referee registered Fang Yinghan and nodded to the host. The host opened the realm of emptiness and shouted, The top 100 will enter the realm of emptiness. As before, the people whose numbers were in the top 100 automatically received their talismans after registering. Then they found their opponents and began the duel. Sima Yue was in the last batch, so she watched the battle with Fang Yinghan and the others in the rest area. She found that the combat power of those underworld emperors was not low, indicating that in addition to improving their strength, their combat power did not fall behind. Mingda went in. His opponent turned out to be him. Fang Yinghan was a little surprised and then smiled. That person almost destroyed Xi Ping. Now that he met Mingda, it's great. He can take revenge himself. Was he the one who destroyed Xi Ping's meridians? Sima Yue asked. Well, at that time, several people seriously injured us. In order to save Mingda, Xi Ping scolded them a few times and said that he didn't dare to fight alone. That person destroyed Xi Ping's meridians. Fang Yinghan said. Then this arrangement is really good. Sima Yue said, Mingda has been depressed about this before. If he can avenge Xi Ping today, he can also solve this knot in his heart. It will be good for his future cultivation. Yes. Fang Yinghan thought so too. As a good friend, he could naturally see that although Zhang Mingda was still laughing, he had always been very concerned about this. He really didn't expect that there would be such an arrangement. It was the will of the heavens. In the realm of emptiness, Zhang Mingda looked at his opponent and couldn't suppress the anger in his body. I really didn't expect to meet you in the second round. The heavens are really good to me. I can destroy your friend, so I can destroy you. That person saw that Zhang Mingda recognized him and did not deny it. Anyway, at this time, even if he found out his identity, it didn't matter. As long as he killed him here, who would know that they had attacked the people of Vast Region before? Then let's see who destroys who today. Zhang Mingda said as he called out his contract beast. At the same time, he condensed his spirit energy and transformed it into 7 black swords in front of his chest, shooting them at the opponent together. The opponent also condensed his spirit energy and condensed 7 spears. When they collided with the 7 swords, a sonorous sound was heard and all of them were broken in half. Sima Yue saw the first round of the two sides and felt relieved. Zhang Mingda would definitely win this round. Chapter 1846. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web, updated quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Both sides were equal in cultivation, and the other side had the upper hand, but the other side had underestimated the enemy, and his combat power was not as good as Zhang Mingda's. Both sides were consuming spiritual power, and Zhang Mingda could also exhaust the other side to death. Sure enough, both sides had been competing with spiritual power. When both of their spiritual power were almost exhausted, it was time to compete with pills. Both sides took out pills to eat, but the effect was obviously different. Zhang Mingda's pills were refined by Sima Yue, so the effect was fast and the spiritual power recovered was much more. At this time Zhang Mingda had the advantage. He changed his previous state of being restrained everywhere, and used his underworld skills as if they were free, smashing one after another on the opponent's body. The opponent could only use his newly recovered spiritual power to defend, and had no other spiritual power to attack. Zhang Mingda did not give him time to use his underworld skills. Puff! The opponent spat out a mouthful of blood, his body was injured in many places, and he fell heavily to the ground. He wanted to admit defeat, but before he could speak, Zhang Mingda's underworld skills chased after him. Puff, 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 puff. The man's wrists and ankles were all cut open and blood sprayed out, soaking the surrounding ground. These are all for you. Zhang Mingda stood beside him with a sword, and the position of the sword was only 1 millimeter away from him. You lost. I won't admit defeat or die. The tip of Zhang Mingda's sword had already cut through his skin, and as long as it went in a little more, blood would be drawn. I admit defeat. You don't even have the courage to die, people like you will only be weak forever. Zhang Mingda took back his sword, took out the talisman and crushed it out, reporting to the referee. And that person, because his meridians were destroyed, he could not crush the talisman with his mind. He could only lie on the ground and wait for others to finish the game before opening the realm of emptiness to bring him out. When he was carried out, he was only hanging on to his last breath. Well done. Murong Hui praised. It's all thanks to Mississippi. Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue gratefully. If it wasn't for the fact that Mrs. Spiritual Energy replenishing pills were so powerful, I wouldn't have been able to beat him. It's also because you didn't fall that you were able to counterattack. Sima Yue said, I see that your injuries are quite serious. Hurry up and take your medicine and rest. Thank you, Mississippi. Zhang Mingda took the medicine, sat down on a chair and began to heal himself. Mrs. Medicinal pills are truly miraculous. He had never used it before, so he didn't know its effects. But from the looks of it now, it was several times more effective than other pills. Our people in the later competition, this is an advantage, Murong Lin said. The elimination process in the first round was too fast. Many people didn't even have the chance to fight before they were eliminated. When the disparity was too great, all other methods were useless. At the beginning, the strength of the eliminated teams is too far apart. The strength of the later competitions is similar, so these are more important. Murong Hui said. I believe that our results this year will be much better than before. Murong Lin said with a smile. He was not confident in these people, but in Sima Yue's medicinal pills. Some of her medicinal pills were invincible in the same level. He didn't know how she refined these medicinal pills. Obviously they were all the same herbs and the same steps. How could she refine different medicinal pills? In the following competitions, as they had guessed, when they encountered people with the same strength, it was basically the people from Vast Region who won. So before Sima Yue arrived, 5 people from Vast Region were promoted this time, which was much better than expected. The last 107 groups of contestants entered, and Sima Yue found that her opponent was lucky enough to be one of the people who had hurt Gu Zipping and the others. Originally, she was going to ask the opponent if he was willing to admit defeat. Now that she knew that he was an enemy, this step was directly saved. She called out Hei Yen, stood on its back and flew into the air. The other party also called out his flying beast and flew into the air. Don't think that you are the only one who has a flying beast. Although your black dragon is powerful, it is still no match for my sacred beast. So much nonsense. Sima Yue dug her ears. Hei Yen do it? Hei Yen didn't even take the other party seriously. It swung its tail but it didn't hit. It actually dodged. The other party saw the surprise on Sima Yue's face and said proudly, my flying beast is famous for its speed, how can your black dragon be faster than it? What are you so proud of? Hei Yan didn't hit and was even bragged about by the other party. It was furious and swung its tail again. It missed again. Hei Yan was stunned. This was the first time it missed its opponent twice in a row since it came out. I'm going to tear you apart. It raised its head and shouted, wanting to fly over and attack. Hei Yan, how many times have I told you, don't be impatient. If the first time doesn't work, then try twice. If the second time doesn't work, then try thrice. Go, this time it will definitely work. Sima Yue comforted it. After being stopped by her, Hei Yan's anger subsided. Although it didn't know why it was able to hit this time, but if Yu said it would, then it would. Hence, it raised its tail again and swung it towards the human and beast in the air. The people outside had been paying attention to Sima Yue ever since she entered. There was no other reason other than that her contracted beast was too eye-catching. Everyone remembered that she killed her opponent in one hit last time and thought that it would be the same this time. They didn't expect her to miss twice in a row. When they saw Hei Yan attacking for the third time, they thought that it would be useless this time as well. However, they didn't expect the other party to be frozen and could only watch as the tail swung towards them. Bang! The human and beast were smashed to the ground by Hei Yan and spat out a mouthful of blood. I told you to dodge. Aren't you very fast? Come on, fly again. Hei Yan said as it swung its tail again, flattening the human and beast. This wasn't enough for it to vent its anger. It swung its tail again and was only satisfied when it smashed a big hole in the ground. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and held her forehead. This guy was doing such a disgraceful thing again. Okay, let's go out. She took out the talisman and crushed it. She took Hei Yan out and reported to the referee. The audience was surprised at first. They didn't expect Hei Yan to really kill the other party. After 2 rounds, she didn't even move her hand. Did you see the end? Lang Yu asked. I saw it. Yushi was also very surprised. I didn't expect her to have such a deep understanding of space techniques. Amazing. Lang Yu touched his chin. So, she is also an array master. I don't know how much she has that we don't know. Not far away, Yuan Yan asked Emoji, is this space ceiling? What level of attainment has she reached? I don't know which level she has reached, but she is above me anyway. As soon as Emoji's words came out, Yuan Yan's eyes widened. Chapter 1847. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Yuan Yan knew Emoji's attainments in array formation. Although he had heard him say that she was very powerful before, he was still shocked when he saw it with his own eyes again and heard Emoji say so. However, not everyone knows as clearly as they do. In the eyes of these people, Sima Yue didn't do anything and easily passed 2 rounds. How did she do it? She didn't hit the first 2 times, how did she hit the third time? The eldest Prince Yu Lu turned his head and asked Yu Qi beside him. 7th Imperial Brother, do you know? Space blockade. She used space blockade to seal her opponents and contract beasts in a small space so that they can't move. In this way, the speed advantage of the contract beasts can't be exerted. Yu Qi explained for his brother, it's really surprising, I didn't expect her to have such attainments in space. This Morongshi is really surprising. The little Prince Yu Fei looked at Sima Yue with interest. I thought she was just lucky to contract a black dragon, but I didn't expect her to have such strength herself. So, those rumors that she is a waste are really false. When Yu Yan heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up as he remembered what she said. Rumors can't be trusted, can they? 2nd Imperial Brother, what are you thinking? Yu Lu saw Yu Yan looking at Sima Yue and smiling. He thought to himself, is this sick person going to snatch her from me? I'm just thinking if she is really powerful, then how strong is her own strength? Yu Yan responded. 7th Imperial Brother is right. The person who can make the black dragon submit is definitely not a waste. Yu Fei said, I didn't expect her to be able to face so many years of rumors and still not care. Yu Qi didn't answer. He watched Sima Yue talking and laughing with others and secretly said, this Morong she actually hid her strength so deeply, could it be that the person who killed the double fiend Black Shadow and the Dream Realm ancestor was really her? He turned his head to look at Xiao Ruabai, who also looked shocked. Obviously, she didn't expect Sima Yue to be so powerful. However, did she really not know? Ruabai, you also didn't know that she was hiding her strength? Yu Qi stared at her, wanting to see through her every expression. Xiao Ruabai shook her head. Yu Qi grabbed a strand of her hair and played with it. I hope you really don't know. If you let me down, I don't know what I will do. Xiao Ruabai pulled her hair back and said lightly, I said let me leave. You are my future princess consort. Where do you want to go? Where can you go? Apart from me, who in the entire dynasty would dare to take you in? Are you threatening me? A threat? I'm just concerned about your safety. Xiao Ruabai sneered. Seventh Prince, what you want is not with me at all. Even if you force me to stay, the result will be the same. If you had saved my grandfather back then, you might have already gotten that thing. What did you say? Yu Qi asked innocently. Xiao Ruabai was too lazy to pay attention to him and turned her gaze to the arena. When Sima Yue looked over, she happened to see a flash of killing intent in his eyes. The rest of the competition ended quickly. Including Fang Yinghan, who was directly promoted, there were 608 people who would participate in the next round of competition. It was still early when Sima Yue went back. It was not until nightfall that she and Murong Hui went to the prince's mansion. Yu the Great, Wang Ye and Yu Yan were already waiting in the courtyard. The two were playing chess. You're here. Wait for us to finish this game. Yu the Great, said Wang Ye. Sima Yue looked at Yu Yan, who was studying the chess game. How could such obvious love be hidden from the eyes of others? In the eyes of others, I am a sick person who doesn't have much time left. Even if father dotes on me a little more, others won't care. Yu Yan raised his head and replied with a smile. Sima Yue was stunned. How did he know what she was thinking? Your thoughts are very obvious. Moreover, if I say that I can read minds, would you believe me? Yu Yan asked. I don't believe you. If you can read minds, then you won't lose this game. Sima Yue said. Yu Yan raised his eyebrows. She was so sure that he would lose? Sima Yue smiled and motioned for him to continue. Sure enough, he lost after a while. How did you know? Yu Yan asked. I guessed. Wang Ye, let's get ready to start. Sima Yue said. Okay. Yu the Great, Wang Ye got up. Are we still going to the hot spring? Yes. Sima Yue said. They went to the hot spring. This time, she did not ask Yu Yan to carry the silver needles because they had prepared a stone table in advance. She could put the box on the stone table. After she finished the acupuncture, Yu the Great, Wang Ye felt more comfortable. After you did the acupuncture last time, my body has been more comfortable. After you did the acupuncture this time, I feel even more comfortable. Is the silver needle technique really unable to cure my injury? This is only temporary. Sima Yue said. Right now, I'm only forcing the cold air and the forbidden medicine to a corner of your body. When it accumulates, it can't be suppressed and the rebound effect will be even more powerful. If I haven't collected the things I want by then I can't do anything about it. Why, are those things hard to find? Not really. There are only one or two that are harder to find, but we already know where they are and send people to look for them. There will be news in 2 days. Yu Yan said. Then let's wait for 2 days. Sima Yue said. Wang Ye's body can't be delayed for too long. It's better if it's a day earlier. If it's delayed, even if his body recovers, it may affect his cultivation. We know. Once the things are here, we will send people to find you. Yu Yan said. Okay. Yu Yan sent her back as usual. Today, the princess consort said that she would hold a small banquet and invite the duke and his children. I think she might be targeting you. She really put in a lot of effort. Sima Yue curled her lips. She didn't think that the princess consort would kill her. You killed her dream realm ancestor and double fiend Black Shadow in a row. Now that you're hiding in the inn and not going out, she naturally has to find a way to make you go out. Double fiend Black Shadow? Who are they? Sima Yue asked. Double fiend Black Shadow is her 2 most capable killers. After they were sent to kill you, they never returned. Why, you didn't kill them? No. I only met the dream realm ancestor. I didn't see Double Fiend Black Shadow at all. Sima Yue said with certainty. Then could it be the Duke or someone else? Yu Yan asked. No, if it was my father or Uncle Emoji who killed them, they would tell me to be careful when I go out. But they didn't mention it. Are you sure they came to kill me and died? Sima Yue asked. Of course I'm sure. Yu Yan was sure about this. Seeing her strange expression, he asked, Why you think of someone? Chapter 1848. In 1 second she remembered, Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Sima Yue had a guess in her heart, but she did not intend to say it out loud. Instead she asked about the double fiends of the Black Shadows. The more Yu Yan said, the more certain she was of her thoughts. Yu Yan meant that the double fiends of the Black Shadows were the most valued assassins of the princess, and they were often sent out to kill important people. The fact that they were sent to kill Sima Yue was, in everyone's eyes, a waste of talent. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. If these two people came to kill her, she estimated that her own strength was not enough. At least she would have to use Xiao Zi or Mier. However, these two powerful people had disappeared after coming to assassinate him. The person who could quietly deal with these two people must be even more powerful. Such powerful people were killed, no wonder she wants to kill me even more. Sima Yue shrugged. If there is a party, will you go? Yan asked her. I won't go. Anyway, I don't need to maintain a superficial relationship with her, so it doesn't matter if I go or not. Sima Yue said, besides, the things you want may be here in 2 days. At that time, I still have to treat Wang Ye, so it's better not to have any accidents. That's true. Yu Yan nodded. I'm here, thank you, second prince. Sima Yue nodded to Yu Yan, went up the stairs, opened the door and went out. Back in her room, Sima Yue lay on her bed, thinking about what Yu Yan said. Double fiends of the black shadows, did you do it? She put her hands behind her head and murmured. After she fell asleep, Huan's faint figure appeared. It took you so long to find out, should I have shown up earlier? But you haven't remembered me yet. Sima Yue's eyes moved, but she did not wake up. 2 days later, the prince's mansion really sent invitations to all the princes and their families to attend the party. Sima Yue only glanced at the invitation and continued to check on Gu Zipping. You're recovering well. Sima Yue finished her checkup and said, you're in good spirits too. You're in a good mood. It helped your body recover. I'm really happy that Mingda crippled that person. Especially when I heard that their doctors couldn't treat him at all. He's already been treated as trash. Gu Zipping was in a good mood. The hatred in his heart had dissipated. Your meridians are recovering well. You will be able to move in a few days. Sima Yue said. I'm looking forward to seeing those people's expressions when they see Ziping. Zhang Mingda said proudly, you've been crippled but you've recovered while he's crippled forever. I think their expressions must be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it too, Fang Yinghan said. Remember, don't tell anyone that I cured you, Sima Yue reminded her. We know that Miss likes to keep a low profile, Zhang Mingda said cheerfully. We'll definitely keep it a secret for Miss. It's good that you know. Sima Yue gave them a knowing look. Are you going to the gathering? Fang Yinghan asked. No, if they ask, just say that I've reached the bottleneck and am in seclusion. Sima Yue said, well, I won't come out for the next 2 days. That's a good idea. Even if it's the princess, she can't make someone give up on advancing, right? Especially at such an important time. Zhang Mingda said. Alright, Ziping, have a good rest. I'll go back first. Don't go out for the next few days. If the princess can't find a chance to attack me, she might vent her anger on you guys, Sima Yue reminded them. We know. They all replied. 2 days later, the third round of the competition ended without any suspense. This time, the situation in vast region wasn't good. Only Fang Yinghan, Zhang Mingda, and Sima Yue advanced. Moreover, Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda won by a narrow margin. If they met a stronger opponent, they would be in danger. Sima Yue didn't make a move this time. The Black Dragon allowed her to advance without any obstacles. It should be said that after the experience of the Black Dragon smashing people into meat pies, her opponent directly admitted defeat this time. Therefore, those who wanted to see Sima Yue make a move were all disappointed. Murongshi. Sima Yue was called at the exit. Greetings to the first prince, second prince, seventh prince and little prince. Sima Yue and the people of vast region bowed to them. Will you come to the banquet tomorrow? Yulu looked at her and asked. Of course I will. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked very obedient. Yulu went in front of Sima Yue and sniffed her hair. He said gently, then we'll see you tomorrow. Sima Yue took a step back without a trace and bowed, saying, see you tomorrow. Yulu left satisfied. Sima Yue was so disgusted that she almost vomited. Miss, are you really going? Zhang Mingda and the others clenched their fists just now. If Yulu behaved more excessively, they didn't know if they would do something impulsive. Didn't we already make a decision that day? Sima Yue said, I'm going back to advance. Everyone's mouth twitched. Then why did you agree so smoothly just now? The next day, Murong Hui went to the banquet alone. Princess and Yulu were talking. Seeing him alone, she asked, where's she? Princess, my daughter went back yesterday. She said that she watched other people's matches during the day and had some enlightenment. Suddenly she was going to advance. So she's still in seclusion and can't come to the banquet. Murong Hui said. Is she really in seclusion? Yulu didn't believe it. Could it be that she doesn't want to come to the banquet held by mother? First prince, you're too serious. She, is most interested in these things. She feels very regretful that she can't come this time. Murong Hui didn't even pant when he spoke official words. What are you talking about? You the great Wang Ye came out with 2 guards, followed by the sickly Yu Yan. We are talking about Murong Shi, the daughter of Duke Murong. She said that she would come to the banquet before, but now she said that she suddenly has a tendency to advance so she can't come. Yu Lu said unhappily. Advancement is a big deal for us cultivators. She can't come, then she can't come. You the great Wang Ye didn't care. Wang Ye is right. Princess consort of Great Yu said. She said to the maidservant beside her, now that everyone is here we can start. Yes, princess. The maidservant stepped forward and announced the start of the banquet. Immediately, a group of beautiful women walked in with good wine. When the banquet was halfway through, the princess raised her wine glass and said, Wang Ye, this concubine would like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for your hard work in this region competition. Wang Ye and the princess consort clinked their wine glasses and drank the wine in one gulp. When he put down his wine glass he suddenly frowned. Wang Ye, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well? The princess consort asked with concern. You the great Wang Ye wanted to say that he was fine, but when he opened his mouth, he spat out a mouthful of blood and then fell to the side. Chapter 1849. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up windows free to read. When you the Dayu Wang Ye fell the entire scene panicked. Wang Ye, what's wrong? Did his old illness relapse? Where's the doctor? Doctor, come and take a look. The entire banquet exploded as everyone looked at you the Dayu Wang Ye who was surrounded by the princes. The doctor is here. Let him in. Yu Yin panted as he pulled the doctor over. The people outside quickly made way for them. Dr. Hao, quickly take a look at Wang Ye. What's wrong with him? The princess consort retreated to the side and gave her seat to Dr. Hao. Dr. Hao had always been Wang Ye the Dayu's personal doctor. He would usually follow Wang Ye to various places to prevent situations like today from happening. After he examined Wang Ye he said, the cold in Wang Ye's body has relapsed. We must go to the hot springs immediately. Wang Ye is so weak now. How can we move him? Don't you have any other way? The princess consort cried out. Princess consort, please calm down. The cold in Wang Ye's body is not ordinary. We have always relied on the hot springs to suppress it. We don't know why it suddenly relapsed, but we can only suppress it with the hot springs. Dr. Hao said, Princess consort, please allow me to take Wang Ye to the other courtyard. The other courtyard is so far away. Will anything happen on the way? The princess consort was still worried. I will use pills to suppress Wang Ye's illness. Wang Ye's illness relapsed suddenly this time. We can't be sure if his illness has worsened. Dr. Hao said, Princess consort, time is of the essence. Let's go quickly. All right, today's banquet is over. We will take Wang Ye to the other courtyard. The princess consort ordered. The dukes were worried about Wang Ye's situation, but the princess consort and a few princes supported him and left. Only the housekeeper and servant girls were left to send them off. When they arrived at the other courtyard, a few guards came out and stopped them. Princess consort, you can't go in. The guard said. What time is it now? You're still stopping me? The princess consort slapped him, but the guard did not move. Only the second prince can go in. This is Wang Ye's order. Princess consort, please don't make things difficult for me. The guard said. That's usually the case. Now that His Highness is in danger, you're still telling me this. Do you think I won't kill you? The princess consort roared, Princess consort. You Yans, you said you, princess consort princess. When imperial father woke up, he would probably blame imperial mother. Let me bring imperial father in. Yu Yan said. The princess consort wanted to say that she wanted to go in as well, but Yu Yan had already led the prince into the courtyard. After the guards allowed them to pass, they stood in a row and blocked the rest of the people. Dr. Hao naturally followed him in. The princess consort. This was the only place she couldn't enter. She had a feeling that there was something mysterious about this place. She wanted to use this opportunity to find out what was going on, but she didn't expect those guards to be so inflexible. Mother, what should we do? Yu Lu asked. Of course we go back. Send a few people to wait here. If there's any news about Wang Ye, immediately report back to the prince's mansion. The princess consort gave a few orders and turned to leave. The princes also left, leaving only 2 guards to guard the door. In the other courtyard, Yu the great Wang Ye opened his eyes. He did not need Yu Yan and Dr. Hao's help and stood up on his own. You can leave first. You the great Wangya instructed Dr. Hao. Wangya, although you vomited blood because of the medicine, the cold in your body is indeed unstable. It's better to soak in the hot spring first. Dr. Hao said. Okay. You the great Wangya responded and turned to enter the inner courtyard. A guard appeared and led Dr. Hao to rest. When you the great Wangya and Yu Yan entered the inner courtyard, they saw Sima Yue waiting there. Are you ready? Sima Yue asked. Yes. I won't appear in front of anyone for the next few days. You the great Wangya said. I've already checked these things. Wangya, take the antidote first. Once the effect of the medicine is over, we can start to remove the forbidden medicine. Then after a few days of recuperation we can treat your old illness. As long as the forbidden medicine is removed, there should be no problem. Sima Yue took out a blood-red pill. You the great Wangya took the pill and ate it. His body, which had been surging with blood, instantly felt much better. While Sima Yue was waiting, she checked the things that they found one by one. These things had arrived the day before the third round of the competition. After discussing with Wangya, she decided to pretend that Wangya had a relapse so that he could leave everyone's sight. Then she would treat his injuries for the next few days. Yu Yan looked at Sima Yue, who was seriously checking the herbs, and thought about how she had methodically explained the plan 2 days ago. Finally, she had said, "Didn't Wangya want to use this opportunity to remove the princess consort's power? She will only take action if you show weakness." At that time, both his father and he were shocked that she was so well versed in politics. But she was right. If something happened to his father, the princess consort would not be able to sit still. They could use this opportunity to turn the tables on her. She was just a woman, but everything seemed to be under her control. It made people think that she was the final manipulator. As long as she was willing, she could turn the clouds and rain with a flip of her hand. Sima Yue felt him sizing her up. She looked up and smiled at him, then continued to organize the herbs. Half a day later, she asked someone to bring a wooden bucket over and poured cold water into it. Then she poured the essence that she had refined into it. The cold water immediately boiled. "Wangya, please take off your clothes and sit inside," Sima Yue said. Wangya looked at the green water that was still bubbling. The color was really ugly. Wangya, who was a little obsessed with cleanliness, frowned. In the end, he took off his clothes and sat inside. "Wangya, don't look down on it. This is a priceless treasure," Sima Yue said with a smile when she saw his constipated face. "How are you going to expel all the forbidden drugs?" Wangya tried his best to divert his attention. "It's easy to say. The process is a little painful. But this medicine can replenish your strength. It shouldn't be a problem for you to persevere," Sima Yue said. "Do you need acupuncture?" Yu Yan asked from the side. "No need. Just eat this pill and you'll be fine." Sima Yue took out a pill and fed it to the prince. Once the pill entered his stomach, he felt as if his body was burning. It was even hotter than the boiling medicine outside. And there seemed to be something swimming in his body, causing every inch of his meridians and blood vessels to hurt as if they were being crushed. Yu Yan saw that his father was in so much pain. He was worried, but there was nothing he could do. After a while, Sima Yue saw that there were some small bumps on Wangya's body. Her tense face revealed a smile. She picked up a knife and cut open the bumps, revealing something that looked like a stone inside. Chapter 1850. These small bumps were the remnants of the forbidden medicine in his body. They would absorb the medicinal effects of various pills, causing his injuries to be unable to heal. Mobile reading, Sima Yue used a pair of tweezers to pick up the lumps and place them into a bowl that was filled to the brim. "This is more than I expected." She took out the last pill and placed the bowl and tweezers on the table beside her. Then she took out a medicinal pill for external injuries and fed it to Wangya. "That's it?" Yu Yan asked. "I've done all I can. After Wangya absorbs all the liquid in this bucket, he can come out." Sima Yue said, "Only when the water is completely clear will he be able to come out." "So simple?" Yu Yan was a little surprised. He thought it would be very complicated. "I told you it's easy. It's just that the process is a little painful." Sima Yue said, "Moreover, you may look simple, but the pills that Wangya ate and the concoction of this bucket of medicine are not things that anyone can do. The medicinal effect of the pill he ate was very strong, which was why he was able to force the forbidden medicine out of his body. The essence of the water would nourish his body during this process, preventing him from collapsing. It could also repair his internal organs and meridians that had been eroded by the forbidden medicine. It looked simple, but even the slightest mistake would be useless. "You'll be fine after absorbing the essence?" I can only say that today is good. Sima Yue said, for the next few days I have to soak in it once a day. I have to soak in it once a day? Wang Ye was a little frustrated. Can't I just eat it directly? Your body has already been severely damaged and you just ate such a powerful medicinal pill. Now that you're extremely weak, how can you withstand the effects of other medicinal pills? Taking a bath is the most gentle way. Sima Yue explained, the last 2 days can be changed into pills, but I have to compete so I don't have the time to make pills. So you can only take a bath. The two of them were speechless. She was the only one who could speak to Wang Ye like this. Then Sima Yue pulled a chair over and sat beside the bucket. She observed his condition and checked on him from time to time. After 2 or 3 hours, the water in the bucket became clear again. Alright Wang Ye, you can come out now. With Sima Yue's permission, Wang Ye came out of the water bucket. When he stepped out, his body swayed, and Yu Yan hurriedly went up to support him. Wang Ye's body is very weak now. It's best to carry him to bed to rest, Sima Yue said. Yu Yan picked up his father and placed him on the bed in the inner room. Then he pulled the quilt over his father's body. Father, what do you think? It's pretty good. It's just that it's really embarrassing in front of a female junior. Wang Ye said somewhat embarrassedly. Wang Ye is a patient now and I'm a doctor. There's no need to be embarrassed, Sima Yue said as she walked over. I've seen many patients like you. There's nothing to see. Her words were very straightforward and the Prince of Great Yu's face turned red. Yu Yan saw his father's embarrassment and changed the topic. When will my father recover his strength? He's weak now because he used too much energy just now. Although he absorbed the essence once, it's still too much. Sima Yue said, he'll be fine tomorrow after resting for a day. That's good. Prepare the herbs that we need later. Sima Yue handed Yu Yan a piece of paper. These are not rare. With your abilities it's easy to gather them. Yu Yan took it and looked at it. Yes, these are available in the pharmacy in the side courtyard. Are these needed tomorrow? No, I'm going to use them, Sima Yue said. She seemed to feel that she was being too straightforward, so she explained, the herbs that I asked you to find before are very troublesome to refine. I need to replenish my mental strength. Okay, I'll get someone to prepare it immediately. Yu Yan walked to the door and gave the light note to the people outside. For the sake of convenience, I'll stay here for the next 2 days. After you've prepared the things, send them to my temporary room. Sima Yue said, I'm tired after a busy night. I'll go back and rest first. She went out and there was a maid outside who took her to the room prepared for her. Wang Ye lay on the bed and waited for her to leave before saying, Yan, what do you think of Murong Shi? What do you mean? Yu Yan asked. Don't you think that as the daughter of a duke, she's more powerful than Murong Hui? Which duke's children can be half as powerful as her? Wang Ye said. I've suspected this before. Yu Yan said. What do you think? Wang Ye raised his eyes and looked at him. Yu Yan only hesitated for a moment before speaking out his conjecture. Father, I think that she may not be Murong Shi. Yu Yan said. Not Murong Shi? Yes. Yu Yan nodded and sat down by the bed saying, Father, do you still remember that General D came to find you 2 or 3 years ago? Of course I remember. He specially came to ask me to pay more attention to the matters in vast region. Wang Ye said, at that time, we were still wondering why he cared so much about the matters there. We thought it was because Murong Shi and the Dark Princess looked alike. Even if they look alike, there's no need to care so much, right? Yu Yan said, but General D specially came to remind me. This is indeed thought-provoking. Wang Ye replied. Moreover, no matter how biased the rumor is, it shouldn't be completely different. If it has changed so thoroughly, it can only mean one thing. This person is not the person in the rumor at all. Yu Yan continued to analyze, amnesia will not change a person's character. Who do you think she is? Father, haven't you guessed it? Yu Yan said, she looks so similar to the Dark Princess, can get General D's attention and is so powerful. Other than the Dark Princess's daughter, Sima Yue, there is no other possibility. It seems that you have guessed it long ago, Wang Ye said. When she showed her silver needle technique, anyone who knew about her in the human realm would be able to recognize her. Yu Yan said. It is indeed too obvious. Wang Ye sighed, I don't know how she became Murong Shi. We can ask about this in the future when we have the chance. For now, let's just treat her as Murong Shi. Yu Yan said, Father, you are very weak now, rest well. We can talk about it later. After speaking, he got up and went out to let his father have a good rest. Sima Yue came to the resting room and sent the servant girl away. She casually set up a barrier and took out a medicinal herb. She called Little Black out and handed it to him, saying, "Eat this." Little Black sniffed and turned his head to the side, but was pulled back by Sima Yue and stuffed the medicinal herb into his mouth. /26/26720/ Chapter 1851. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Little Black was ambushed and whimpered. It wanted to spit out the herbs, but when it saw Sima Yue's gaze, it ate the herbs aggrievedly. After eating, it lay at Sima Yue's feet and pretended to be dead. Sima Yue glanced at it indifferently. It's useless to pretend to be dead. You still have to eat it in the future. Woo woo. Little Black opened its eyes and looked at her. Why did she let it eat such disgusting things? Sima Yue was also stunned. That's right, why did she let Little Black eat herbs? From the first time she gave it to Little Black, it seemed to be a matter of course, as if she had done it before. There's a blood demon following you? TSK, it's a pity that it was struck by lightning. Its strength was sealed and its body was left with hidden injuries. If you give it a lot of herbs, it might be able to recover. How much do you want? A lot. Sima Yue's body trembled. Such a conversation actually appeared in her mind. This voice. It's the same voice as the one who said he wanted to bet with me. She whispered softly. The underworld. Little Black saw that she was in a daze and ignored it, so it whimpered twice and interrupted her thoughts. Sima Yue came back to her senses and was a little angry. She took out a herb and stuffed it into its mouth. Woo woo woo. Little Black wanted to cry. I'm going to do something serious now. If you interrupt me again, I'll let you eat 10 herbs. Sima Yue threatened. Little Black shrank its neck, indicating that it would be obedient. Sima Yue came to the bed, sat cross-legged, and entered the cultivation mode. However, she did not cultivate this time. Instead, she entered her mind, found the sealed memories and began to attack the seal. Huan was hidden in the air. Seeing that she was attacking the seal, he was very worried. Little ancestor, that's a seal personally set by the king. How can it be broken so easily? You'll get hurt. Huan was anxious and wondered if he should come out to stop her. However, seeing that she was fine for the time being, he held himself back, but he still paid close attention to her condition. As time passed, Sima Yue's face turned paler and paler. Large beads of sweat dripped down her forehead and she frowned. All of a sudden, the aura around her body became chaotic, and the power in her body surged. Her pale little face swelled up and turned blood red. Piff! She spat out a mouthful of blood, staining her skirt and the edge of the bed. Miss? Huan saw her vomiting blood and finally couldn't help but come out of the space. Sima Yue raised her head. There were still traces of blood at the corner of her mouth. She smiled at Huan. Huan, long time no see. Huan stopped when he was a step away from her, looked at her in shock and said, You remember everything? Hello, I'm Huan. Huan? Which Huan? The most tragic Huan. Sima Yue repeated the conversation between the two of them, indicating that she really remembered. Huan's eyes flashed with surprise, but he still reprimanded her with a sullen face. Miss, how are you? How could you break through the king's seal? I didn't break through the seal by force. Sima Yue took out a pill and ate it. I felt that the seal was loosening, so I wanted to try. I didn't expect that I would really succeed. If the king finds out, he will definitely get angry with you. Huan said. Isn't he in the underworld? Sima Yue said, If you don't tell him, how would he know? So it seems that I won the bet. Sima Yue said, It's a pity that he's not here at this moment. No one has ever broken through the king's seal. You're the first. Huan admired her very much. At this time she could show her uniqueness. I have never lost a bet, especially a bet about my own future. Sima Yue recovered her memory and was in a good mood. The burning pain in her body could be ignored. You are really reckless. Huan wanted to scold her, but when he saw the proud smile on her face, he could only swallow his words. Well, this is not the underworld. You don't have to always be so serious. Sima Yue said with a smile. Let me see your injuries. Huan said. Sima Yue stretched out her hand. Huan held her wrist and a cold force entered her body. As soon as she came into contact with Huan's power, the surging blood calmed down and the burning pain in the injured area also dissipated a lot. When Huan's power left her body, her injuries were almost healed. Thank you, Huan. Sima Yue said gratefully. Huan's mouth curved into a faint smile. By the way, Huan, have you been by my side all these years? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Did you kill the Dong family and the double fiend? Yes. I told you, how could they die for no reason? Sima Yue said. Those who disrespect the young miss deserve to die. Huan's eyes were filled with killing intent. If it weren't for the fact that killing the Wang Fei would cause Sima Yue more trouble, he would have already killed the Wang Fei and the others. Sima Yue felt that he was sincerely protecting her and smiled. Don't be angry, there are endless people like this. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. How is Ming? The king is very good, but he is very bored. In recent years he has found something to do. Huan did not say that the king was very happy to see Wu Lingyu being tortured. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It's rare to see him interested in something. Well, indeed. Huan agreed, but at the same time muttered in his heart, as long as it's related to you, the king is interested. Especially when it comes to abusing a man who makes him feel unbalanced, he is even more interested. What about the others? They are all good and they miss you very much. At the same time they are very jealous of me. Huan said half-jokingly. If it weren't for the rule of not coming out without permission, they would have run out to find you. If they came out, the world would probably be in chaos. It's good that Ming set such a rule. Sima Yue pursed her lips and smiled. If you say that, everyone will be sad. Huan shrugged, very sympathetic to his friends. Okay, I clearly heard you laughing. Did I? Sima Yue did not admit it. It's rare for me to recover my memory, let's go celebrate. Okay. Huan stepped forward and grabbed Sima Yue's body, opened a space channel and walked in with Sima Yue. Little Black, who was playing by himself, was stunned for a moment when he saw Sima Yue disappear, but before the space channel closed, he also jumped in. You want to leave me behind? No way. In the suburbs, Sima Yue and Huan were lying on a hill, each holding a bottle of wine. This wine is much better than the one in the underworld. Is this the one you said you made yourself? Sima Yue picked up the wine bottle and shook it, immersing herself in the memory that had just been unsealed. According to the route of the old ancestor, she went directly to the outside of Eternal Brilliant City, but when she opened her eyes, what she saw was a sea of Huahua. Chapter 1852. At that time she didn't know that this flower was the Hell's flower. She only felt that it was very charming. Mobile access, what flower is this? It's so captivating. She looked at the sea of flowers in front of her, not knowing how she had appeared here. You're actually able to come here. A voice rang out behind her. She turned around and saw a faint figure. Who are you? She asked. The shadow approached her and sniffed her body, saying, Primal Chaos Aura, you've been to the Primal Chaos world before, no wonder you can come here. Chaotic world? Sima Yue recalled that when she was in the academy she had gone to a place called the Chaos world. In the end she was brought out by Emosha. She had never entered that place again, nor had she come into contact with it again. She didn't expect that after so long, it would still affect her. Looking at the figure in front of her, she asked again, Who are you? Where is this place? The voice circled around her twice and said faintly, Welcome to the Netherworld. I am the king of the Netherworld, Hades. Nether King? Underworld? Am I not in the ghost realm? Why are you here? She looked at the Netherworld King, a white and transparent figure. You are the Netherworld King? Then do you know how to get to the ghost realm? You want to go to the ghost realm? Yes. She nodded. Can you tell me how to get there? All the ghost clansmen are thinking of ways to come to the underworld, but you only want to go to the ghost world. The Netherworld King was amused by her request. Do you know where this is? Sima Yue felt that there was something wrong with his head. Didn't you say that this is the underworld? Then do you know where the Netherworld is? The Nether King asked again. I don't know, Sima Yue answered honestly. The skills used in the ghost realm are called underworld skills, and the spirit beasts are called underworld beasts. Tell me, where is the underworld? I think so. Sima Yue nodded. But I still want to go to the ghost realm. In the underworld you can cultivate pure underworld energy and quickly condense a true body. You can quickly become an expert. Ming said, Don't you want to? Of course. But I still have to leave. Sima Yue said. Could it be that what you want to do is more important than becoming stronger? Yes. Tell me about it. If I'm satisfied, I might allow you to leave. Ming didn't believe that there was anything more important than becoming stronger. She felt that her thoughts were hard to understand. I want to go to the ghost realm to save my mother, Sima Yue replied. My mother is suppressed in the Avicii hell, I want to save her. With your current strength? Ming sized her up. You're more like courting death. I will become stronger. Isn't it good to stay here and become stronger? Can I still leave after staying? Once you start cultivating in the underworld, you will naturally be a member of the underworld. There are rules in the netherworld, no one is allowed to leave without permission. That's it, Sima Yue shrugged. I'm going to leave so I can't stay here to cultivate. If you agree to cultivate here and I can still leave, I will cultivate here. Ming shook his head. You can't cultivate. You can't leave while cultivating. So, why don't you tell me how to go to the ghost realm? Sima Yue said. I'll allow you to stay here for a while. If you still want to leave, then we'll talk about it. Ming floated in the air and looked straight at her. The smile on the corner of his mouth showed that he was in a good mood at the moment. After being alone for so many years looking at those guys all the time, he was bored to death. Now that an outsider had finally come, he was like a child who had seen a toy. How could he let her leave like this? Although Sima Yue was in a hurry to leave, she didn't think that Ming's temperament was as harmless as his appearance. If she rejected him too much, she didn't know if he would suddenly become irritable and do something to her. Besides, she could also find out if the underworld was as good as he said. Thus she followed him. The two walked out of the sea of flowers. Sima Yue saw a few people guarding outside. King Huan was surprised to see Ming appear with a woman. How long has it been since someone entered the underworld? And it was a woman. She looked at everyone without any excitement or fear. She was so calm that she didn't look like someone who had just arrived in the underworld. She suddenly appeared in the sea of flowers. Her soul had entered the chaos world before and was sucked in. Ming said as he looked at Sima Yue. By the way, what's your name? Sima Yue. Sima Yue retracted her gaze and replied. You can still come out after entering the chaos world? Ju looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. She won't lie to you, right? Ming hit the flower stem in his hand on Ju's head and shouted, Am I so stupid that I can't even tell this? King, you said before that people from other realms can't come out after entering the chaos world. She said that she had been to the chaos world, but did she really go there? Ju muttered in a low voice. The others looked at him with pity. Sure enough, he was beaten again. Ming hit him several times with the flower stem and said, Why did I bring you to the underworld in the first place? I really regret my decision. King, you didn't bring me to the underworld. I was born and raised here. They were brought in by you. Ju corrected him. Huan rubbed his forehead. This guy was here again. Every time he wanted to challenge the king's bottom line, why bother? Ming exploded and threw the flower in his hand at Huan. Then he punched him until his face was bruised and swollen. How dare you refute what I said? Are you saying that I'm old and can't remember things? Next time I'll sew your mouth shut. Sima Yue looked at the sudden change in Ming's style and the corners of her mouth twitched. She looked at him sympathetically. This person had been lonely for a long time, right? That's why his personality was so changeable. TSK, how miserable. Ming turned his head and saw her sympathetic eyes. He was stunned for a moment. Sympathy? This person was sympathizing with him? What a joke. Was he someone who needed to be sympathized with? But why couldn't he be angry with her gaze? He seemed to have never been looked at like this before. Sympathy, it was a strange feeling. Huan saw his contradiction and returned the flower in his hand to him. He asked, King, is she going to stay in the underworld in the future? If she stayed, she would be one of them in the future. She said she wanted to go to the ghost world. I plan to let her stay here for a while and have a good understanding of the power of the underworld. She will know how wrong her decision was. Ming said. Sima Yue curled her lips. No matter how good this place was, it couldn't shake her heart to leave. Suddenly, a magnified face appeared in front of her. Ming's evildoer face was flawless. He saw through her thoughts and said with interest, You can leave if you want. As long as you make me happy, I'll tell you how to leave here. Chapter 1853. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Reading book web, quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Make him happy? How could this old monster be happy? Sima Yue felt a headache coming on. Your Majesty, where do you want to put her? Huan asked. Just put such a cute little pet in my courtyard. Ming reached out to stroke Sima Yue's hair. Sima Yue tilted her head to avoid his hand and said, Don't make yourself look like an old pervert. Old pervert? Not only Ming but everyone present also widened their eyes. No one has ever dared to say that about me. Even your ancestors didn't dare. Ming's cold face was still a bit scary. Sima Yue stepped back and stared into his eyes. I'm telling the truth. I told you not to make yourself into an old pervert, but I didn't say you were. If you don't do those things you won't be. Haha, aren't you afraid that I'll kill you in anger? You guys have been alone here for so many years and finally there's an outsider. You won't kill me so easily, Sima Yue said confidently. You sure are confident. Ming retracted his anger and returned to his previous appearance, but Sima Yue could feel that his aura was much colder than before. Her words probably made him unhappy. I'll spare you this time. If you make me angry again, no matter who you are, no matter who your ancestors are, I'll kill you without hesitation. You know my ancestors? Sima Yue asked. The 9th Nether Clan, a clan second only to the underworld and the former ruler of the Ghost Realm. Ming said, the black lotus on your back is about to bloom. Sima Yue touched her back, and the black lotus on her back seemed to be faintly warm. He really is an old monster. I can't hide anything from him, she muttered in her heart. Don't slander me in your heart. Take her away. After saying this, Ming disappeared before everyone's eyes. Come with me. Huan turned to leave after saying this, and Sima Yue quickly followed him. What's your name? Huan. Which Huan? Tragic beyond compare. It's really special. Huan glanced at her and didn't say anything more. He took her to the palace not far away. Although it was called a palace, it did not look like one at all. On the contrary, it was pitifully small with only a few courtyards. Even an ordinary family could have such a courtyard. Your king lives in such a small courtyard? Sima Yue asked. The king doesn't like to live in a place that's too big, Huan said. It makes him feel more lonely. Sima Yue nodded in agreement. When one was alone, if the house was big, it would indeed make one feel more lonely. Huan took her to the most remote courtyard, stood at the door of the courtyard and said, You live here. Sima Yue looked around. Fortunately, although the courtyard was small, it was a palace after all. The decorations inside were not bad. After saying that, Huan left without any more instructions. Sima Yue entered the courtyard, casually found a house to stay in, and began to think about today's events. Obviously she was trapped here now. Because she didn't want to stay here, Hades became interested in her. It was as if he had found a toy. However, no matter how much she asked to leave now, he would not agree. So she could only stay now and think of other ways. Sigh, an old monster, how can I make him happy? She was a little frustrated. Generally, this kind of old monster who had lived for who knows how many years would have a strange temper. It was really difficult to make him happy. She had to find the right point. In the next few days, everyone seemed to have forgotten about her, and no one came to care about her at all. She wanted to leave but was told that she could not leave without Hades's order. So she could only pass the time in the palace. It took her half a day to walk through all the palaces of Hades, and then she had nothing to do. The spirit pagoda was injured and sealed, and the other beasts were in a coma. Only Xiaohei and Mi-Er were still awake. Mi-Er was very interested in the underworld and secretly went outside to play, leaving her and Xiaohei in the palace. She played with Xiaohei for a while and then she was bored again. She didn't know why Hades had locked her here. She looked around in the spirit pagoda and found that except for some ingredients, everything else was sealed, so she could only take out those ingredients to make something to eat. Fortunately, there were still backups in the space ring. But when the things were ready, she was worried again. Without a flame, how could she cook the rice? In the past, she used the flames of the beasts directly, or the flames of spiritual power. Now that there was no spiritual power, and the beasts were sleeping, there was no firewood in the spirit pagoda at all. After thinking about it, she went to find the guards and asked them to find some firewood for her. The guards hesitated for a moment and told Huan about this. When Huan brought the firewood over, she had already set up the temporary stove and was complaining to the ingredients. Didn't you say you were going to take me out to see how powerful the underworld is? In the end, there wasn't even a shadow. What do you want firewood for? He asked. Sima Yue was startled by him and turned around to glare at him. Don't talk behind other people's backs. It will scare people to death. She had no spiritual power now, and her spiritual power had also deteriorated, so she didn't notice that someone had come in. Coupled with Huan's strength, even she might not have been able to sense it in the past. Huan ignored her and looked at the stove she had set up and asked, "What are you doing?" "What is it for?" "A temporary stove. For cooking." Sima Yue said, "I haven't cooked with firewood for a long time, I don't know if my skills are still there. Just ask them to put it here for me." Huan glanced at the two guards, and they went up to put the firewood next to the stove and then retreated. Sima Yue took a piece of firewood and stretched it in front of Huan, saying, "Make a fire." Huan glanced at her and saw her clear eyes. He didn't know what she was thinking. Seeing Sima Yue stretch out her hand again, he glanced at the firewood and the firewood lit up. Amazing. Sima Yue sighed, took the firewood to the stove and then began to cook. Huan kept looking at her, watching her leisurely cook and stir-fry vegetables, humming a little tune, and from time to time teasing Little Black with meat. When she was done, she gave more than half of the food to Little Black. Seeing Huan still in the courtyard, she asked, "Do you want some? You spent so much energy just for this food?" Huan stood still. "Your king won't come out and I can't go out. If I don't find something for myself, I will be bored to death." Sima Yue said, "Are you complaining about me?" Ming suddenly appeared in the courtyard, saw the dishes she was cooking and said, "It seems that you are living a very comfortable life." It seemed that the method of ignoring her was useless. Originally, he thought that this would allow her to start cultivating so that she wouldn't be able to leave. But now it seemed that she didn't take the bait. Chapter 1854. In 1 second she remembered, "Love divided by you?" Read book webquick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue looked at him, raised the plate in her hand and asked, "I don't dare to complain about you. Do you want some?" "What is this?" Ming asked. "It's food that I made." Sima Yue said, "I don't think you're interested in it. Little Black, you're not allowed to snatch it from me after you finish eating." Little Black, who was about to sneak an attack on her food, was caught and retracted its claws from the plate. Ming turned his gaze to Little Black, raised his eyebrows and said, "You actually have a blood demon by your side? It's a pity that it was struck by lightning and its strength was sealed. If it can eat a lot of medicinal herbs, it might be able to recover." "How much do you want?" "A lot." Ming smiled and said, "If you stay, I will provide you with endless medicinal herbs and guarantee that it will recover from its injuries. How about that?" "If you want it, I can leave it to you. Anyway, I was forced to sign the contract at that time," Sima Yue said. Ming, Little Black, was heartbroken. It bit her skirt and whimpered, protesting her decision. "Useless." Mier came back from outside and couldn't help but roll his eyes when he saw Little Black like this. "What is this?" Ming looked at Mier. "You have a lot of natural things around you. Diske, you must be too lucky to die young." Sima Yue was surprised. He could tell. "If you follow me, you can travel through several realms. How about it, are you tempted?" Ming tempted. Sima Yue saw that his words were full of temptation and was too lazy to talk to him anymore. She sat down at the table and picked up her chopsticks to start eating. But before she could eat, the plate in front of her disappeared. "I'll try it too." Ming sat down opposite her and took out his chopsticks to eat. Therefore she, who had been working for a long time, didn't eat a single bite. After a certain someone finished eating, he took the towel from Huan and wiped his mouth and said, "It's barely satisfactory." She was so angry that she wanted to beat him up. However, when she thought about her own situation, she held herself back. "Since you're so bored here, I'll take you to the underworld." As soon as Ming finished speaking, Sima Yue felt as though she had been caught by something and disappeared from the spot. For the next few years, Ming had been taking her around the netherworld. Originally, he wanted to influence her to stay, but in the end he was slowly influenced by her. Seeing that she was determined not to change her mind, he could only compromise and agree to let her leave. "How about we make a bet?" Ming asked. "What do you want to bet?" "You once said that you won't give up any part of your life. I will seal your memories of the underworld. If you can recover your memories within 10 years, I will not interfere with your life, nor will I force you to stay in the underworld. If you can't remember, then follow me back to the underworld. What do you think?" "All right." "So straightforward. Don't you want to think about it?" "No need. I have confidence in myself." Sima Yue looked at him and said seriously, "I won't forget you and I won't forget the underworld. Just like how I won't forget what I want to do." Ming grinned, but he wasn't happy. He felt lost. "So you should go." He reached out his hand to rub her head. A faint light locked her head. Before she woke up, he opened a space and pushed her in. Outside Great U City, Sima Yue and Huan were reminiscing about the underworld. "It's King's regret that he couldn't change your mind. But he's a good old monster. He didn't force me." Sima Yue's feelings for Ming weren't shallow. "Although I didn't cultivate in the underworld, that experience was very important to me. I'm glad to have met you guys. She raised her wine jug to Huan. Huan smiled and clinked his jug with hers. Alright, did Ming ask you to send me the Pocket Universe box? Asked Sima Yue. Yeah. King knew that you would need it. I didn't know that before, but now I remember that it's also a divine weapon. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have had to look for a spatial artifact everywhere. Sima Yue said, but isn't it a bit too extravagant to use such a good thing for the Spirit Pagoda? Does King need you to save things for him? Huan asked back. That's true. Sima Yue suddenly figured it out. In that case, when my strength increases, I'll give it to Little Spirit. Okay. Now that I've recovered my memory, are you going back? Sima Yue asked. No, King ordered me to protect you and always protect you. Huan said. Then you'd better come out. You don't have to stay in the space all the time. Sima Yue said. Okay. Huan wasn't a secret guard before. Of course he was happy to follow her openly. This way, others would know that she had someone protecting her. The two chatted until it was dark. When they felt that someone was outside the enchantment she had set up, Huan took her back to the palace. Father, are you looking for me? They returned to the courtyard and saw Muronghui knocking on the door. Aren't you inside? Who is this? Muronghui saw Sima Yue appear behind him and Huan beside her. He looked at her worriedly. This is my friend Huan. I went out with him just now. Sima Yue said, Father, why are you looking for me? Nothing, I just heard from the guards in the palace that you haven't come out after treating Wang Ye's injuries, so I was a little worried about your situation. It's good to see that you're fine. Muronghui didn't look at Huan too much, but he still reminded her, you're here in the palace. If you bring a friend in, you have to tell Wang Ye and the others. I know, I'll tell them in a while. Sima Yue nodded. Father, at last night's banquet, the princess didn't do anything to you, right? No, she was very disappointed when she knew that you didn't go. I think she must have arranged something, but it was disturbed by Wang Ye's matter. Muronghui replied. Father, there's something I have to tell you. Sima Yue told her about how Huan killed the double fiend Black Shadow and exhorted, so, the princess consort must kill me now. You must be careful outside. It was also the first time Muronghui heard about the killing of the twin demons of Black Shadow. After being surprised, he quickly calmed down and said, Don't worry, the region competition is not over yet. She won't do anything to me. And I'm afraid she doesn't have the intention to deal with us now. Has she decided to? Yes, Wang Ye has already received the news that the princess is preparing to take advantage of this incident to annihilate Wang Ye's forces in one fell swoop, so she is now deploying. Wasn't this your idea? Now she has taken the bait. The princess is easy to get rid of, but the forces behind her are difficult. But this is for Wang Ye to worry about, we can just watch from the side. Sima Yue said with a smile, that smile was even unkind. Chapter 1855. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue brought Huan to see Yu Yen. Second prince, this is my friend. He heard that I was in danger and came to protect me. Don't worry, he won't tell anyone about the prince's mansion. Sima Yue said. Yu Yen looked at Huan for a while and was a little surprised. He couldn't detect the other party's strength. He didn't think that Huan was a person without spiritual power, so there was only one explanation. His strength was much higher than his. That's good. The prince may not have time to take care of you later. Now that there is someone to protect you, it's safer for you to go out. I'll have someone arrange a courtyard for him. No need to go through so much trouble, he can live next door to me. Sima Yue said. Yu Yen only hesitated for 2 seconds before agreeing. He asked someone to tidy up the room next to Sima Yue. If it was someone else, he might have investigated further. But Sima Yue's identity was special. Not to mention that she was Yu Kaluo's daughter and the Ghost King's granddaughter, she was the only one who could cure his father. He couldn't make things unpleasant with her. Second prince, is the bathtub ready? We can start today's medicinal bath. Sima Yue said. Is ready, please. Yu Yen went in first, followed by Sima Yue and Huan. Sima Yue saw De Yu Wangye sitting up from the bed and introduced Huan after bowing. De Yu Wangye didn't object to Huan following her, but told Yu Yen to take good care of him. After that, Sima Yue placed the medicinal essence that she had already prepared into the bathtub, and the water turned green again. Wangye, please. De Yu Wangye took a deep breath, then took off his clothes with determination and sat down inside. Compared to the leisure in the courtyard, Diyu City was almost in a state of tension. The news of Diyu Wangya vomiting blood and fainting at the banquet spread throughout the city that night. The people of the Qingwang faction were worried about Wangya's safety, but there was no news at all. They were very anxious. As for the others, they were in a much better mood. Many people went to the princess consort, saying that the time had come and they could make their move. The princess consort was a little hesitant. She didn't know if the time had come. Imperial Mother, I feel that it's better to send someone to investigate before making further plans. Yu Qi said. What's there to investigate? Imperial Father has been taking forbidden medicine for such a long time, and his body has long been depleted. Right now it's just earlier than we expected. Seventh Imperial Brother, don't be so timid. This is not the style of a man. Yu Lu's fat jiggled as he waved his hand. Royal Brother, if this is just a scheme devised by Royal Father, then it will only be disadvantageous for us if we rashly plan ahead, Yu Qi explained. How can Royal Father devise a scheme when he's already in this state? If Royal Father wanted to do something, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait until his body is in this state? Yu Lu scoffed at his words, thinking that he was thinking too much. However, Yu Qi didn't think so. He felt that it was better to be careful. Moreover, he couldn't reason with this fool. He turned his gaze to the princess consort and said, Imperial Mother, what do you think? The princess consort leaned against the chaise lounge and supported her chin with one hand, thinking about the possibility of this matter. Someone come. She called outside and someone immediately came in. Princess consort. Send someone to investigate the courtyard and see how Wangya is doing. The princess consort ordered. Yes, princess consort. The person received the order and left. Yu Lu wanted to say that there was no need, but he didn't dare to refute the princess consort's intentions. Yu Qi smiled. The more cautious the princess consort was, the more likely their plan would succeed. All right, you can leave first. The princess consort waved her hand and chased everyone out of the room. After a while, someone appeared in her room. When she saw the person, she smiled charmingly. Why did you take so long? I missed you so much. Recently, the higher-ups gave me a mission and I was very busy. If I hadn't snatched this mission, I wouldn't have been able to come. The man went forward and pressed her down. You missed me? Where did you miss me? Above or below? You're bad. The princess consort pinched him shyly. Let's talk about business first. Wangya this time. Oh. We'll talk about business later. The higher-ups did give you an order, but there's no rush. Let's do business first. You're so annoying. The room was charming and gentle, but no one outside the room knew. After a while, the princess consort leaned against the man and said, What did the higher-ups say? They want you to confirm the situation of Diyu and Wangya. If the situation is true, we can bring forward the plan. The man said. Needless to say, I've already sent someone to investigate. As long as the situation is true, we can pull out all the forces under him. However, I feel that everything is too easy. I don't believe it. The princess consort replied. How is it easy? You've been planning for this day for many years. Just the fact that he took the forbidden medicine is enough to make it impossible for him to be better. All these years of hard work will not be in vain. The man comforted. Are you sure he took the forbidden medicine? I'm sure of it. I personally found those medicines and saw him take them with my own eyes. Although he slowly stopped taking them later, the ones he took were enough. The princess consort said with certainty. Then there's no problem. With the effects of the forbidden medicine, he can't be pretending for so many years. Although the time of the illness this time is a little earlier than expected, it's not impossible. That's true, but it's better to be safe. The princess consort said, I've sent someone to the courtyard to investigate and confirm the situation. Well, you've always been reliable, which is why the higher-ups handed such an important matter to you. Since the person investigating the news hasn't returned yet, why don't we do it again? No. The princess consort's protest turned into a soft gasp, and the room was once again filled with endless scenery. In the courtyard of the prince's residence, Sima Yue was giving Wangya a medicinal bath. Huan came to her side and said a few words to her, causing her face to darken. A moment later, cough cough, Father, how are you? Wangya the Great was lying on the bed, vomiting blood from his mouth. Yu Yan was lying by the bed looking at him anxiously. Dr. Hao, quickly take a look. Why is Father vomiting blood again? Didn't you say that taking that pill would guarantee that Father would no longer vomit blood? He vented his anger on Dr. Hao, who was beside him. Second Prince, please calm down. Wangya's body has been damaged too much by the forbidden medicine. and his internal organs have almost been corroded. Previously, Wang Ye used his spiritual power to suppress it. Now that he's unconscious and his spiritual power is out of control, naturally. Chapter 1856. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Dr. Hao's words made the faces of the people in the room gloomy. Forbidden medicine. Forbidden medicine. I told you not to take forbidden medicine, but you didn't listen. Now, father is going to die from the effects of forbidden medicine. Yu Yan roared. All the doctors in the room lowered their heads. What should we do now? Father can't keep vomiting blood like this. If this continues, father will. Yu Yan's eyes turned red. He suppressed the anger and sadness in his heart, making his weak body tremble uncontrollably. Second Prince, the medicine that Wang Ye just took can temporarily stop Wang Ye from vomiting blood, but there is no way to treat his injury. I think it's better to inform the princess consort and the others as soon as possible. Dr. Hao suggested. Is there really no other way? Yu Yan asked. Now, even if the Ghost King's imperial doctor comes, there is no way to save him. Dr. Hao said. When Yu Yan heard this, his body swayed, and the servant beside him immediately stepped forward to support him. Second Prince, how are you? Yu Yan waved his hand, indicating that he was fine. Second Prince, should we inform the princess consort and the other princes about this? Dr. Hao asked. No. This news can't be spread. Yu Yan shouted, Whoever dares to spread this news, I will not spare him. Second Prince. Everyone was frightened by his sudden momentum. Second Prince, if Wang Ye really can't make it, is it okay not to say anything? Someone asked. The princess consort has always had bad intentions. If she knows about father's current situation, she will definitely take the opportunity to seize power. Yu Yan said, We must be prepared before we can release the news. Then will the county competition in 2 days still be held? It will be held as scheduled. Yes. Since he had said so, what else could they say? He was the most powerful here. While they were discussing, a black shadow flew out of the courtyard. Yu Yan came outside the room and looked in the direction of the black shadow with his hands behind his back. Sima Yue and Huan came out of another room. Yu Yan turned around and said gratefully, I really have to thank you this time. If you hadn't told us in advance, we wouldn't have been able to beat them at their own game. This was also discovered by Huan. Sima Yue smiled at Huan. The person they sent this time is the #1 hidden guard. If we didn't pay attention in advance, our guards wouldn't have noticed him at all. Once the princess consort discovers the truth, all our previous efforts will be in vain. Thank you, Huan. Huan just nodded faintly. He just wanted to help Sima Yue and not to you and Wang Ye. Don't be in such a hurry to thank me. Let me tell you another piece of news. You can thank me after you hear it. Sima Yue said. Yu Yan raised his eyebrows. More news? The princess's adulterer is here. Sima Yue said. What? Adulterer? Yu Yan was shocked by her words and stared at her with wide eyes. Yes, you didn't know? I thought you knew. Sima Yue said, It was just a while ago, so we don't know who it is. How did you know? I have my sources. Sima Yue said. Her scarlet bees had been staying in the prince's mansion, especially closely monitoring the princess consort's every move. So when the princess consort and that man were having sex, they didn't notice that there was a little bee peeping on the beam. Is there anything else? Yu Yan sorted out his feelings. Because he didn't get along with the princess consort, he didn't feel hurt by this news, but he was very surprised. He seems to have something to do with the power behind the princess consort. He said that if the situation is true, he will take action in advance. Sima Yue said, but he didn't say if he will send help. How about it, are you ready? We're just waiting for them to take action. Yu Yan chuckled. They had been waiting for this day for a long time. When will they take action? I think it will probably be in the next 2 days. The region competition will be a good opportunity. Yu Yan said. Then won't the region competition be ruined? No, neither father nor the princess consort will want to interrupt this competition. Yu Yan said. Then I'll just focus on the competition. And the medicinal bath for father in the next 2 days. Don't worry. After tomorrow his body will be much better. Sima Yue turned and left. Huan also left with her. For the next 2 days she still gave to Yu Wang Ye a medicinal bath every day, but there were more medicinal pills than before. After taking this medicinal pill, your condition will be stable for the next 2 days. As long as you don't leave yourself with only one breath, there won't be a big problem. But try not to use your spiritual power as much as possible. After all, it will hurt your body. Sima Yue reminded, the real boss doesn't have to do it personally. I know. De Wangye replied, I will try not to do it myself. It's good that you know. Sima Yue said, if there is trouble later, I will charge you more for treatment. Okay. By the time he finished the medicinal bath, it was already dark. She also gave him an injection during the medicinal bath, then packed up her things and returned to the inn with Huan. The people of vast region were surprised by the sudden appearance of Huan. Why did she bring back a man after not seeing her for a few days? Why did you bring back a man after being missing for a few days? Lang Yu walked around Huan twice. His surprised look made Sima Yue roll her eyes at him. Can't you talk properly? I'm talking properly. Lang Yu touched his chin and looked at Huan. Why do I feel that your friend is a bit mysterious? Sima Yue rubbed her eyebrows and said, Huan, if you want to teach him a lesson, I'm very much in favor of it. As long as you don't kill him. Huan nodded at her and suddenly appeared behind Lang Yu. He grabbed him and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. That speed made Yushi unable to react at all. Sima Yue saw Yushi frowning and said, Don't worry, Huan has a sense of propriety. Why are there so many strange people around you? Yushi said, Your mother was not as popular as you were back then. Mother would be proud of me. Sima Yue smiled. Are you ready for tomorrow's game? Yushi asked. I'm ready. There are only more than 600 people left and they are basically all powerful people. Although you have the black dragon, it has not fully grown up yet, and there is no lack of powerful mythological beasts among those geniuses. I know. But I promised Emoji that I would enter the top 10, so I will definitely enter. Sima Yue said confidently. Until now, no one has seen you fight except for your space blockade. I'm very curious about your own strength. Sima Yue smiled mysteriously at him. You'll know when the game starts. Chapter 1857. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up windows free to read. Sima Yue returned to her room and not long after Huan also came back. How was it? She asked. It's been solved. Huan nodded at her. He believed that when Lang Yu saw him in the future he would be very very obedient. I've arranged a room for you right next to me. You don't have any objections, do you? Sima Yue asked. Just right. Huan was very satisfied with this arrangement. Then go and rest. The competition will start early tomorrow morning. Do you want me to take you to your room? Sima Yue asked. No need. When I was following you, I had already figured out the situation around you. Huan said. Well, good night. Sima Yue returned to her room, went to the spirit pagoda to take a bath, and fell asleep comfortably. On the other side of the inn, Lang Yu was gritting his teeth and shouting, What is the origin of this Huan? I didn't see what he used at all and he beat me up like this. This guy is really vicious. You should be glad that he only used his hands. Yushi applied medicine to him. If he used his spiritual power you wouldn't be like this. Can you tell where he came from? Be gentle. Lang Yu cried out in pain. Who told you to talk nonsense? Even if he didn't beat you up, I would have dealt with you. Yushi said. Well, I really shouldn't have said that, but I was just joking. And I also wanted to try to find out his details. Who knew that he was so powerful? Lang Yu's mouth twitched. How long has Sima Yue been in the ghost realm? How can there be such a powerful person protecting her? And this person's aura is a bit strange. Yushi said as he applied medicine. I don't know how she knew him. Since the other party said that he was here to protect her at present, he is not an enemy. Lang Yu said. Yushi stared at him without speaking, and the silence made him feel a headache. I sacrificed myself for us. He is not an enemy. As long as she's in the middle, it doesn't count. Yushi's words made him heave a sigh of relief. He really didn't want to be enemies with such a powerful person. He had a feeling that Huan was so powerful that he could get rid of him in minutes. It hurts so much. You have to compensate me. I didn't tell you to do that. You can't burn the bridge after crossing it. Is there a bridge? Early the next morning, Sima Yue took Fang Yinghan and the others to the competition venue. Murong Hui disappeared in the middle of the night, and the students who did not participate in the competition did not come to watch this time. It wasn't just their county that was like this. The situation was similar in other counties as well, so there were very few people watching today's competition. Looking at the situation, he knew that something was going to happen today. When the competition started, no one from the prince's mansion came. Only the host and the referees were there. Contestants, please step forward and draw your number. The host didn't even make any opening remarks. He directly asked the contestants to draw their numbers and take their tokens. Because it was an elite competition now, the number of people entering each time was reduced from 100 to 50 groups to make it easier for the people outside to watch. Out of the 304 groups, Sima Yue drew the last group and could only go on stage last. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda were in the first group to go on stage. They were numbered 25 and 40 respectively. With the medicinal pills and one-time use arrays given by Sima Yue, both of them advanced to the next round. Not bad. Sima Yue smiled at the two of them. It's all thanks to Miss that we were able to advance. Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue gratefully. If they won this competition, they would advance to the top 300. With this ranking, they would be able to receive great training from the dynasty. Their future achievements were self-evident. If they could advance, then there was no need to talk about it. However, in the face of so many masters, they had no hope of advancing in the next round. With their current results, they were already very satisfied. Go and rest and heal your injuries. Sima Yue nodded at them and didn't say much. Aha. Both Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan could see that her state today was a little erratic, so they obediently returned to their seats, took the medicinal pills and watched the competition while healing their injuries. Yuan Yin and Emoji didn't come, and Lang Yu didn't come because of his bruised face. Only Yu Shi and Huan accompanied her. However, they all saw that she was a little uneasy. It'll be fine. Yu Shi said, with your father's strength, he shouldn't be sent to the front line. Are you comforting me? Sima Yue was speechless. Although Dad's strength is not very strong, he is also a core member of Wangye. It'll be fine. Huan also comforted her. None of these dukes came today. I think they either followed Princess Consort and the others or went with Prince and the others. Sima Yue sighed. I can only say that the people who compete here are lucky, because they don't have to face today's events. It was the first time Yushi saw Sima Yue so sad and he didn't like it. Instead he said, I don't know if you will meet a strong opponent in today's competition. I'm still waiting to see your strength. Do you believe my words so much? What if I'm just bragging? Sima Yue turned her head and asked him. Yushi chuckled, Are you? Sima Yue pouted, his reaction was really not funny. I hope I won't meet a very powerful one today. That depends on your luck. Practice proved that her luck was really good. Although the strength of the people she met this time was good, it was not to the point where she had to take action. However, the other party also had a more powerful spirit beast, so Sima Yue called out Xiaohei. At first, when they saw Xiaohei who had no spiritual power, everyone thought that Sima Yue was at her wit's end, so she used a useless underworld dog to make up the numbers. However, after seeing Xiaohei's speed, they were all stunned. Sure enough, there were no ordinary underworld beasts here. Sima Yue came down and saw Yushi's speechless expression. She pursed her lips and smiled. I'm so sorry I didn't show you my strength again, uncle. Yushi raised his eyebrows. You'll see it eventually. It's already late, those things should have been settled by now. Sima Yue looked at the distant sky. Who do you think won? Yushi asked. Do I even need to ask? I have confidence in my father. Sima Yue said. You already knew the result? I said before, I have sources of information. Sima Yue said, the things outside have just ended, we can go back. At this time, some guards ran in from outside, and the contestants who were about to leave all stopped. What's going on? Some people did not know what was going on, but Sima Yue and the rest knew what was going on. Therefore, they were not surprised at all when they saw the guards leading the contestants away. Chapter 1858. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book Webno pop-up window free to read. Looking at the people who were taken away, they were even more certain of their guess. The princess and her child had failed. After the guards left, Fang Yinghan said to Sima Yue, let's go back. Sima Yue nodded. She had just taken a few steps when her expression suddenly changed. She said to Yu Shi, Uncle, please take them back. What's wrong? I have something to do. Uncle, I'm counting on you. Sima Yue disappeared after speaking. Yu Shi and Huan didn't expect her to disappear so suddenly. They were stunned for a moment, and then Huan also left. Although Yushi was curious about what she had to do when he saw Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda, he gave up the idea of chasing after them. He couldn't ignore what she had asked him to do. Miss just disappeared like that, right? Zhang Mingda pulled Fang Yinghan's hand and looked at the place where Sima Yue was standing just now in surprise. I didn't expect Miss to be so powerful. Fang Yinghan was also shocked by Sima Yue's strength. Let's go. I'll take you back first. Yushi turned around and left first. At the same time he muttered in his heart, this girl doesn't show off, but when she does, it's amazing. Really? Before Sima Yue reached her destination, Huan caught up with her. The two didn't speak in the space and she took him directly to the 7th prince's residence. It wasn't over yet. The 7th prince, Yu Qi, was still stubbornly resisting with his men. Yu Yen surrounded the 7th prince's residence with his men and forced them to the backyard step by step. There was no way to retreat and the two sides were in a stalemate. 7th prince, you have no way out. Surrender obediently. Yu Yen came to the front of the team and faced Yu Qi. Seeing Yu Yen return to normal, Yu Qi snorted coldly. I didn't expect that the person who hid the deepest was you. After so many years, you are the one who hid your strength. Am I not forced by you? Yu Yen flicked his sleeves. If I didn't show weakness, I'm afraid I would have followed my mother. Can he still be alive? Humph, using your own body as a stake, you are also a heartless person. Imperial Father knew about it long ago, but he hid it from everyone with you. Everyone says that he favors little brother the most, but it seems that little brother is just a cover for him. He has long wanted to pass the throne to you. If you were loyal to Imperial Father, he wouldn't have given up on you. But your heart is not with him at all. Yu Yen said. Ah. Of course my heart isn't with him. He is not my father. He knows this, so in his heart he has never thought of letting me inherit the throne. Since that's the case, I will naturally seek a throne for myself. What's wrong with that? Tell me, what did I do wrong? Looks like you already knew. Yu Yen said, then you should know that the princess consort and your biological father have already been arrested. You'd better surrender. Surrender without a fight? Second Imperial brother, do you think I'm stupid or that you're too childish? Yu Qi laughed sinisterly. As long as I surrender, I won't be far from death. I'm not that stupid. Even if you resist stubbornly, you won't be able to escape. If you continue, you'll only end up dying immediately. Yu Yen said, in view of our many years of brotherhood, I suggest you don't do this. If you want to kill me, you're not enough. Yu Qi shouted, I will definitely escape. Escape? Just you? Xiao Ruabai opened the door and came out from inside. Immediately, someone's attention was locked on her. Ruabai, I'm here to take you away. Yu Qi walked to Xiao Ruabai's side, looking affectionate as if it was real. Are you here to take me away? Xiao Ruabai sneered. Of course I'm here to take you away. Yu Qi looked at her. Although it's more difficult, we can still leave. But I don't want to leave with you. Xiao Ruabai said, I shouldn't be here. No, you have to come with me. Ruabai, you have no choice. Yu Qi looked at her, not giving her a chance to refuse. Xiao Ruabai looked back at him. We know what you want. I won't go with you. Yu Qi took out a long sword, put it on her neck and said, I'm not a patient person. Ruabai, you know me. If you don't come with me today, then I can only send you away first. Then come. Xiao Ruabai was not afraid at all. The Xiao family was destroyed and I have been living an ignoble existence for the past 2 years. If I can go to them today, it will be a good thing. Living an ignoble existence? When Yu Yen heard her say this, he suddenly laughed. In order to save you, I spent so much effort and you actually said that. You're still so good at flaunting yourself. But isn't this you? Xiao Ruabai raised her chin. If you want to do it, then come. 7th Prince, we can't delay any longer. The people behind him urged. Yu Qi also knew that time waited for no one. Looking at Xiao Ruabai's face without any reluctance, he finally waved the sword in his hand. Whoosh! A small stone knocked away Yu Qi's sword. He quickly reacted, pulled Xiao Ruabai and grabbed her neck with his hand. Everyone looked at the power just now and Sima Yue and Huan slowly appeared. It's you? Yu Qi looked at her in surprise. He didn't expect her to come here. When Xiao Ruabai saw her, her eyes flashed, but in the end she didn't say anything. Why are you here? Yu Yen was also surprised by Sima Yue's appearance. I'm here to pick up Ruabai, Sima Yue said. Yu Qi lowered his head and bit Xiao Ruabai's ear. It seems that your enemy still bills herself as your friend. She still wants to save you. Xiao Ruabai looked at Sima Yue and didn't say anything. Second brother, I know that Murong Hui and Murong Shi are both your people. Why don't we make an exchange? I'll give you Xiao Ruabai and you let me leave. How about it? Yu Qi asked. Yu Yan glanced at Sima Yue. With just one glance, Yu Qi knew what was going on. It seems that Murong Shi has a high status in Yu Yan's heart, and she values Xiao Ruabai very much. So Xiao Ruabai is his bargaining chip today. Sima Yue saw through his thoughts and said, You want her to be a bargaining chip? Yes. How about it, Murong Shi, if you want Ruabai to live you have to let us out. I know that the person beside you is very strong. As long as you want you can get her. Don't try to play tricks, I can take her life in an instant. Do you think you have the qualifications to negotiate with us? You want to kill Ruabai? As soon as her voice fell, she appeared in front of Yu Qi and grabbed his hand that was holding Xiao Ruabai without warning. Chapter 1859. In 1 second she remembered, Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Yu Qi had no time to react, he felt his wrist go numb, and then the person disappeared. Ah. He held his arm with his other hand, and only then did he see that there was an embroidery needle on his wrist. He pulled it out forcefully and his numb wrist recovered. At this time, Sima Yue had returned to the air with Xiao Ruabai. How about it, I said, you are not qualified to threaten me. Sima Yue said, Second Prince, you don't have to worry about me in the future. Go. Yu Yan waved his hand and the people behind him attacked Yu Qi and the others. Huan, sorry to trouble you. Sima Yue looked at Huan, and he understood what she meant. With a wave of his hand, the entire space was sealed by him. So, when Yu Qi and the others tried to tear the space to escape, they found that the space could no longer be opened. In the end, Yu Qi refused to surrender and was killed by Yu Yan. His followers were all killed. I have to report to my father, so I'll leave first. Be careful. Yu Yan finished speaking and left with a few people, while the others stayed to control the people in the 7th prince's residence. I won't be grateful to you. Xiao Ruabai said. I don't want you to be grateful. Sima Yue said, however, I am very grateful to you for not telling Yu Qi my identity before. Xiao Ruabai looked into the distance and said, I'm just keeping my promise, not for you. The result is the same. Sima Yue said. The Murong family destroyed my Xiao family, and you saved my life today. From now on we don't owe each other anything. Don't come to me again and I won't come to you again. Goodbye. Xiao Ruabai turned and left. Sima Yue watched her go further and further away, but did not chase after her. Aren't you going to chase her? Huan asked. He had been following Sima Yue all the time, so he naturally knew the little things between her and Xiao Ruabai, and knew her feelings for Xiao Ruabai. I'm not going. Sima Yue shook her head. It's not suitable for me to chase after her now. That would make her feel bad. Aren't you worried about her? I have already informed Gongzi Yuan. You will take care of her. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Let's go back. She looked at the prince's mansion that had been turned into ruins because of the battle just now, and her body slowly disappeared into the space. Huan also left with her. Back at the inn, Murong Hui and the others had not returned, and the whole courtyard was deserted. When Yushi saw her, he wanted to ask her about her disappearing hand. But seeing that she was not in good spirits, he did not disturb her. When Sima Yue saw him, she nodded at him and entered the house. When Lang Yu saw her so listless, he blinked and said, What's wrong with her? Why do you look like you've been abused? You must have something on your mind. After getting along with her for a few days, he had a preliminary understanding of her. What did you see today? It's just like that. At first, the princess and the others were all fine, and victory was in their hands. When Wang Ye came out, the situation was completely reversed. He was not at his last breath like the rumors said. Instead, he was in high spirits. At first glance, his spirit was very good. I'm thinking when we saw him, was he pretending? Lang Yu was a little doubtful. Didn't you check him? Can he hide it from you? When I checked him at that time, his body was indeed in a serious deficit, and he couldn't pretend so well, Lang Yu said. In other words, he was cured during this period of time. Yushi said affirmatively. His body was beyond treatment at that time. Who was so powerful that he could recover so quickly? Lang Yu suddenly paused and looked at Sima Yue's room in disbelief. Could it be her? Yushi did not speak, but he also guessed so in his heart. My God, if that's the case, Then her medical skills are much more powerful than we thought before. Lang Yu licked his lips. This girl hid deeper than we thought. It's indeed much deeper. She said, I'm looking forward to seeing her match in the competition and forcing her to use her spiritual power. I'm also looking forward to it, but it's unlikely. Lang Yu became a little disappointed when he said this. What's wrong? During the day we received news that the king gave us a task. We have to do it in 2 days and we won't even be able to see the next promotion. Lang Yu said, how long have we rested? Another task. We haven't rested enough yet. This task is really? She was also a little speechless. If it was in the past, the two of them would not be like this, but now that they were finally interested in something, they had to leave. This was not a good feeling. Forget it, we have to leave sooner or later. The things here are almost done, so it's better to leave now. Yushi went to find Sima Yue and told her that they were leaving. Sima Yue was slightly surprised to hear that they were leaving, and then she replied, since it's a task given to you by the Ghost King, you naturally have to deal with it. Aren't you reluctant to part with us? Lang Yu was unhappy, he was very reluctant to part with her. Sima Yue twitched the corner of her mouth and said, yes, I'm very reluctant to part with you. But aren't you going to do something? Business is more important. Anyway, it's not like we won't have a chance to see each other later. Maybe we'll meet in the capital soon. Then we'll wait for you in the capital. Come early. Lang Yu began to look forward to it again. If she went to the capital, who knew what kind of storm she would stir up? She was much more straightforward. After telling her that if there was any danger she could report his name and then left with Lang Yu. Without the two people, especially without Lang Yu who often chattered in her ear, she felt a lot quieter. If Lang Yu knew what she was thinking, his heart would be broken again. That night, Murong Hui and the people from Vast Region did not come back. The next morning the people from Vast Region came back, but Murong Hui still did not come back. Sima Yue saw that nearly 1/3 of the team was missing and said, thank you for your hard work. Go have a good rest and heal your injuries. There shouldn't be anything else after this. Yes, Mississippi, everyone was indeed tired. In addition, they lost 1/3 of their companions and were in a bad mood, so they went back to rest. Miss, why hasn't the Duke come back yet? Zhang Mingda asked. Wang Ye left him to deal with some things. Don't worry, father is fine. He will be back in 2 days. Sima Yue comforted the two. 2 days later, Murong Hui still did not come back, but the guards of the Wangfu came to pick her up. Sima Yue looked at the people in the inn, nodded, and left with the two people. After a while, another guard of the Wangfu came over and said that he wanted to pick her up. The atmosphere in the inn suddenly fell to the freezing point. Chapter 1860. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, webquick update, no pop-up window, free to read. You said you came to take her to the Wang Mansion? Fang Yinghan asked. One of the guards took out the Wang Mansion's token to show his identity. Fang Yinghan looked at it and confirmed that it was the Wang Mansion's token. May I ask where Miss Murong Shi is? Another guard asked. Just now, 2 people wearing the same clothes as you came and said they would take her to the Wang Mansion. She followed them. Zhang Mingda said. What? Wang Ye only sent the 2 of us, no one else. The guard shouted, are those people really the Wang Mansion's guards? This is bad. Those people are not from the Wang Mansion. Zhang Mingda shouted, Miss left with them, will she be in danger? Let's go find Miss. The people from Vast Region stood up. Don't panic, I think Miss already knows. Fang Yinghan was the calmest among them. Miss knows? Yes. I didn't notice before, but now that I think about it, Miss glanced at us before she left. At that time, she should have already discovered that those 2 people were not from the Wang Mansion. Fang Yinghan recalled Sima Yue's gaze. Thinking about it now, her gaze was indeed a bit strange. So, Miss knew that those 2 people were fake but she still followed them? What? Miss should have exposed them. Zhang Mingda said. Could it be that those 2 people are too strong? If she exposed them, perhaps it would bring you danger? The Wang Mansion's guard guessed. So, for our safety, Miss put herself in danger? The people from Vast Region were moved. Miss was too good to them. If anything happens to Miss, we will be sinners. Miss Shi, let's go find Miss. Don't panic, I think Miss knows what she is doing. Fang Yinghan said, but we still have to find Miss as soon as possible. We will report to Wang Ye. The 2 guards hurriedly left to tell the news to Dayu Wang Ye. Just as the people from Vast Region were about to leave, a scarlet bee flew back and stopped in front of Fang Yinghan. This is Mrs. B. Zhang Mingda recognized the scarlet bee. Could it be that Miss sent you to deliver a message to us? At this moment, the scarlet bee nodded as if agreeing with his words. It's true. Then where is Miss now? Can you take us there? Fong Ying Han asked. Scarlet bee shook his head. You can't take us there? Fong Ying Han asked. The scarlet bee nodded. Miss doesn't want us to look for her? The scarlet bee nodded. Everyone looked at each other. She didn't want them to look for her? Young Miss must have guessed that we would look for her, so she sent the scarlet bees to stop us. Zhang Mingda said, Little bee, it's fine if you don't want to take us. But tell us, is Miss in danger now? Scarlet bee shook his head. Seeing this, everyone's worried hearts were finally at ease. Since Miss sent the bees back to report that she is safe, then there should be no problem. Miss was very capable. She must have her reasons for doing so. Then let's not disrupt Miss's plans. Fong Ying Han said. Scarlet bee nodded again. Then let's go and tell the Duke lest they worry. Zhang Mingda said. Scarlet bee nodded again, then flew away. It seems that Miss meant to tell us not to look for her, and to tell the Duke this news. Fong Ying Han said. Then let's go now. Zhang Mingda suggested. We don't know where Miss is now and who took her away. After Sima Yue left with the two of them, they did not walk towards the Duke's palace. Instead they walked out of the city. Aren't we going to see Wangya? Why are we walking out of the imperial city? Sima Yue asked the two of them. Miss, Wangya and the Duke are outside the city. The guard said. Do you think I'm stupid? How could Wangya and my father be outside the city? Who are you? Sima Yue stopped, unwilling to continue walking. You found out. But you don't have a choice now. One of the guards said, Are you going to follow us obediently, or are you going to be tied up by us? Sima Yue looked at the two of them, her hands behind her back. Don't try to resist, we know you have the black dragon, but since we dared to come, it means that we have the ability to deal with it. Resisting will not do you any good. The other guard threatened. If you resist, the people guarding outside the inn will kill all the people in vast region. I think you don't want anything to happen to them, right? Sima Yue looked at the two of them angrily, but in view of the current situation she suppressed her anger and said, Okay, I'll go with you. That's right. Let's go, my master wants to see you. Sima Yue followed them and continued to walk out of the city. She stretched out her index finger behind her back and waved it, indicating to Huan that they should not act rashly. At the same time, she ordered Scarlet Bee to keep the people in the inn safe. She really wanted to know who would pay attention to her at this time. She counted with her fingers, it couldn't be the princess consort, she had already been caught at this time. It was also impossible for it to be the princes, they had such powerful people, they would have taken them out long ago. As for Moji, Yushi and the others, it was impossible for them to do such a boring thing. Besides them, who else would pay attention to her? The two fake guards took her out of the city and went all the way to an inconspicuous courtyard on the outskirts. The two guards took her in, and as soon as she entered the courtyard, she found that there were many experts here. Many people locked their attention on her. It seemed that the background of the people waiting here was not ordinary. A maid came over, and when she saw Sima Yue, she said with a cold face, Go in, my master is waiting for you. Sima Yue followed her into an exquisite small courtyard at the back and saw the back of a person sitting in a wheelchair. Similar back view, similar silence. At that moment she thought she saw Shen Qiuhe. However, the other party quickly broke her illusion. He turned around and looked at Sima Yue. His indifferent and handsome face did not have the gentleness that Shen Qiuhe gave people. Miss Murong, hello. I'm sorry to have taken the liberty to invite you here. I hope I didn't scare you. The man said. To be honest, you did scare me. Sima Yue said, but I don't think you care about my little mood. The man smiled slightly, he really didn't care. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? Sima Yue asked. I heard that Miss Murong is very smart. Why don't you guess why I invited you here? The man waved his hand, the space ring on his hand was very simple. Sima Yue shrugged. I don't like to stand and talk to people. Chapter 1861. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reading book, web, no pop-up window, free to read. The man moved his fingers and someone immediately brought a chair over for Sima Yue. Sima Yue sat down and faced the man. She straightened her skirt before looking at the other party and faintly saying, I only came from a small place. How could I guess where a great Buddha like you came from? Why don't you tell me your name and why you've captured me here? If you're here to threaten Wuxia, then you've got the wrong person. I'm just a nobody, I'm not that useful. Hee hee. The man chuckled. If you're a nobody, would you believe your own words? Of course I would. Sima Yue nodded seriously. Wasn't there a saying that if you want others to believe, you have to believe yourself first? If you're a nobody, you can easily kill the head of the Shao family. If you were a nobody, you would have been able to cure the Prince of Great Yu's injury that had been dragging on for decades. If you're a nobody, you can make the Black Dragon submit to you? Tell me, are you a nobody? The man asked. Sima Yue's smile did not fade, but her heart was in turmoil. This man knew everything. Since he was so sure, she did not have to pretend to be a fool. She shrugged. Since you know everything, it seems like you've investigated me. You know everything about me, but I don't know who you are. Isn't this a little unfair? I spent a lot of effort to investigate you. The man said, if you want to know who I am, do you have to give me something in exchange? I don't have anything in exchange. If you're willing to tell me, then tell me. If you're not, then forget it. Sima Yue leaned against the back of the chair. How boring. I thought you would guess. The man said. This world is so big and there are so many capable people. How can I know everyone? Sima Yue said. No, with your intelligence you'll be able to guess. It's just that you're not interested in guessing with me. The man said, perhaps I should do something to pique your interest. Look who that is. Sima Yue looked in the direction he was pointing at and saw a few guards bringing two people out. She squinted her eyes. What do you mean? She asked. I heard that the two of them are your good friends. In order to invite you over, I invited them over first. The man said. Were you captured too? Gongzi Yuan shouted anxiously when he saw Sima Yue. Are you guys all right? Sima Yue asked. I'm fine. His spiritual power was sealed, Gongzi Yuan replied. Sima Yue nodded at the two of them. Then she looked at the man and said, tell me, why did you call me here? You don't have to look like you're facing a great enemy. I'm very friendly and would like to get to know you. The man said. Your friendliness is really special. Sima Yue snorted, release Gongzi Yuan and Ruabai. I didn't intend to embarrass the two of them. It's just that with them you will be more sincere to talk to me. The man said, after the matter is done, I will naturally release them. But if you don't want to, I can't guarantee their safety. What conditions do you have? I'll agree. Sima Yue said. Good. Straightforward. The man clapped his hands lightly. I heard that the two of them had a good relationship when they were in Eternal Brilliant City. Now that they can be treated like this by you, it's not in vain that they were loyal to you. If you want to negotiate with me, shouldn't you show some sincerity? Sima Yue said, since you have sealed their spiritual power, even if they are with me, they are no threat to you. The man thought for a moment and waved his hand. The guards immediately released Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai. Gongzi Yuan was free and pulled Xiao Ruabai to Sima Yue's side. Why are you here? They have a lot of experts here. Gongzi Yuan said. I know. Sima Yue said, are you too injured? Take this healing pill first. She took out 2 pills and gave them to the two. She didn't know if the man was too confident in his strength, but he didn't stop her. Gongzi Yuan took the pill and ate it. Xiao Ruabai looked at the pill in her hand and didn't move. Ruabai? Gongzi Yuan urged her. Xiao Ruabai looked up at Sima Yue, said thank you and then swallowed the pill. As soon as she ate it, she knew that this pill was not as simple as healing. Okay, now you can say it. What do you want me to do? Sima Yue stood in front of the two and looked at the man. It's very simple, I want you to come with me. The man said. I don't know who you are. Besides, you want me to go with you, aren't you afraid that I will betray you? Sima Yue asked. This is easy to solve, isn't it? My name is DC Kong, you may have heard of my family. DC Kong said. DC Kong? Sima Yue was startled and remembered Di Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda. Sorry, I have never heard of the 4th family, I only know the 5th family. Do you know the 5th family? DC Kong smiled. The 4th family is obviously more powerful than the 5th family, how do you know that they don't know us? But it's all the same, the 4th and 5th families all work for the princess. Anaheim? Don't you know that Anaheim sent people to kill me and my father before? If she knew that you came to me, I don't know if she would be suspicious of your 4th family. If the princess knows your ability, she will naturally accept you. The 4th family still has the face to protect your life. DC Kong said. But I don't want to work for her. Sima Yue said, so, I'm sorry I can't agree to your request. Are you sure? I originally thought that you wanted me to help you heal your legs, I didn't expect this to be your request. I am a vengeful person. Anaheim sent people to kill me before. It's fine if I don't take revenge on her, but you want me to work for her. Do you think this is possible? Sima Yue scoffed. Follow me, not in front of her. DC Kong explained. Isn't it the same? Change your request, I can still consider. Sima Yue said. Do you think that you still have a choice when you are here? DC Kong stopped smiling, his entire aura became sinister. Either you die or you agree there is no other choice. What if I insist on the third choice? Sima Yue asked. Then you will pay the price for your choice. Gongzi Yuan or this beauty you can choose for yourself. DC Kong threatened. Unfortunately, I won't choose either. Sima Yue said. Then I will choose for you. Don't you have a grudge with this beauty? She is fine. After DC Kong finished speaking, a spiritual power with the strength of Underworld Venerable immediately attacked Xiao Ruabai. Chapter 1862. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. No matter how heaven-defying Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai were, their age was still there. They had not reached the level of Underworld Emperor, so there was no way to avoid this attack. Xiao Ruabai found that she was locked in place and couldn't move at all. It was impossible to move even if she wanted to. She watched the spiritual power getting closer and closer, and felt the footsteps of death getting closer and closer. She should have closed her eyes so that she wouldn't be so scared, but she couldn't control herself and watched it get closer and closer. The aura of death, despair, unwillingness. Just when she thought she was going to step into death, a hand grabbed her hand. The hand was full of strength, trust, concern, and hope. Then Sima Yue's familiar back stood on her side, blocking the approach of death. Then she saw her condensed spiritual power and dispersed the spiritual power attacking her. Everyone present was stunned. She had actually received Ming Zun's attack so easily? Sima Yue turned her head and smiled at Xiao Ruabai saying, Don't worry, I will protect you. The tears in Xiao Ruabai's eyes finally fell uncontrollably. Sima Yue reached out and wiped it for her. Holding her hand, she faced DC Kong again. DC Kong quickly recovered from the shock and said, I didn't expect you to have reached the strength of Underworld Senior. This really surprised me. No wonder you dare to come alone. A black dragon, a mutated dog, plus her own strength, it was enough to make her confident. It's not that I want to come alone, but you didn't give me a chance to bring people. Sima Yue said. However, do you think you can take them away like this? I don't think you are so naive, right? DC Kong said. If we can make peace, naturally we don't have to fall out with each other, right? Sima Yue said, however, if you hurt my friends, there is no need for us to talk anymore. Do you think you can get out like this? Didi Kong said, smart people know that a wise man submits to circumstances. It's not worth it for you to die here. 15 in the southwest, 10 in the southeast, 10 in the north and 12 in the west. The weakest is at the Emperor of the Underworld. Am I right? Sima Yue named the people who were hiding in the courtyard one by one. Didi Kong's expression became more and more serious as she spoke. She could actually clearly identify the people in the courtyard. How did she know? Sima Yue looked at him and continued, besides that, there are hundreds of people guarding outside, right? I didn't expect your senses to be so powerful. However, just because you can discover them doesn't mean you can leave. Didi Kong said, since you know the people here, then you should understand that with your little strength, it is no different from hitting a stone with an egg. It was better not to make a futile struggle. This will save us a lot of trouble. Xiao Ruabai and Gongzi Yuan became nervous when they heard their conversation. Could they leave under such circumstances? Sima Yue gave the two of them a reassuring expression, and then said to Didi Kong, what if I insist on leaving? Without backup, what can you do? Didi Kong said, what I can't get has never been allowed to exist in this world. So we can only fight. Sima Yue sighed, however, you are wrong about one thing. What? I didn't come alone. Sima Yue said, my little friends can't wait to come out. After that she called out all her beasts. Little Seven, Little Dream, Huahua, Little Golden Snake, Little Rock, Chongming, Yaguang, Blackie, Mier, Heiyan and Little Purple. 11 beasts appeared around her, startling everyone. Damn you have so many contract beasts. Gongzi Yuan almost jumped up in surprise. Xiao Ruabai was also not calm. She never knew that Yue had so many contract beasts. Didi Kong looked at these contract beasts and was not particularly surprised. Instead he laughed. You really are not Murongshi. Some of these contract beasts are from the human realm. If I'm not wrong, you are the daughter of the Dark Princess, Sima Yue, right? Aren't you waiting to confirm your guess? Sima Yue said, now it proves that your guess is correct. You really know. Then why did you call out all these contract beasts to confirm your identity? Didi Kong said. Of course it's because I didn't intend for you to spread this news. Sima Yue looked at them. As long as you can't get out, how can this news spread? Haha, I used to think that I was a confident person. I didn't expect that there would be someone more confident than me. Do you think that with these contract beasts of yours, you can break out of my encirclement? That depends on who is encircled. Sima Yue smiled at him, and that smile gave him a bad premonition in his heart. Master, our space here is sealed. A guard appeared from the space and knelt beside Didi Kong. What did you do? Didi Kong looked at Sima Yue. One of my favorite things to do is to close the door and beat the dog. Sima Yue said, you know so much about me, don't you know this? Juan, thank you. Juan appeared in the air with his hands crossed over his chest and looked at the situation below indifferently. With your strength you want to resist us. The maid who led her in shouted. Didi Kong did not have such confidence. He looked at Juan and estimated his strength in his heart. To be able to isolate the space of the entire courtyard from the outside, this strength was not something that ordinary people could do. So this Juan must be a guy who was not to be trifled with. You don't have to look at him like that. He is only responsible for closing the door, not beating the dog. Sima Yue said, it just so happens that after arriving in the ghost realm, the beasts haven't had a good time. This time you guys can have fun. Oh my god, we can finally have fun. Little Seven clenched her fists. My little grandaunt's fists are going to rust. Still the same as before? Hua Hua waved her rattan and a man-eating flower bloomed on it. The sharp teeth in the flower shone with a cold light. Good. Little Dream agreed. Why are you guys talking so much nonsense? I'll go first. Hei Yen spread his wings and attacked the people hiding in the southwest corner. As soon as she moved, the other beasts also moved. Only Little Purple lazily lay in Sima Yue's arms and yawned. Sima Yue condensed a protective circle to surround the three of them to prevent them from being hurt by the aftermath of the attack. You damn woman. The maid left Didi Kong's wheelchair and flew towards Sima Yue with her sword raised. If I don't show my power, do you think I'm a useless cat? Little Purple looked at the woman and snorted coldly, waving her cat paws casually. Chapter 1863. 1 second to remember. Love divided by you? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Little Purple only waved its little claw. Everyone didn't put it in their eyes, nor did they put its little claw in their eyes. However, after it waved its claw, a bolt of lightning directly struck the maid and turned her into a piece of black charcoal. Everyone else was stunned. How could there be lightning here? Phew, I hate people who don't take me seriously the most. Little Purple blew its paw, and then lay down in Sima Yue's arms again. Here it comes. I knew this kind of thing would happen when Little Purple makes a move. Little Seven rolled his eyes, venting his unhappiness of being robbed of the limelight on these people. As long as it doesn't strike us. Hei Yen was helpless against Little Purple. Who let it be afraid of lightning? If you have time to be in a daze, it's better to kill 2 more people. Little Meng didn't feel anything about this. Whose limelight wasn't you use? There was nothing to fight for. In the ghost realm, we really can't match its advantage. Little Peng thought about how he was once a popular figure in the human realm. Unlike now, no one paid attention to him. Chongming smiled helplessly. These guys. The beasts continued to fight after complaining, but Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Rua by beside Yue couldn't take it anymore. They were stimulated. As a ghost clan, they were deeply affected by the lightning just now. Until now, they could still feel the burning pain of the lightning element attached to their bodies. They had seen Little Purple in Eternal Brilliance City, but they didn't expect it to be such a powerful beast. With this lightning, at least half of them would be killed. DC Kong looked at Little Purple in shock. He knew that there was a purple kitten beside Sima Yue, but he didn't expect it to be able to use lightning. What kind of beast is this? It's so. The word, powerful, was stuck in his throat. This was not a good thing for him. Since I dare to come to you alone, I don't have the courage to do so without some strength. Sima Yue stroked Little Z. I gave you a chance to leave quietly, but you forced me to choose this way. DC Kong's face was as ugly as constipation. How did he know that there was such a perverted person like her in the world? He had noticed Sima Yu the first time she went to the Underworld artifact shop. At that time, his intuition was that this Murong-shi was not an ordinary person at all. That was why he sent people to investigate her. As one of the top forces in the world of spirits and souls, the information he found was much more detailed than others. The difference between the events before and after was too great. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't seem like the same person. That was why he made such a guess. He was indeed sharper than the average person. He guessed the beginning but not the end. Who knew that she had so many beasts and they were so powerful? You think you can harm my Yu? Black lava swept his tail, and Diddy Kong flew up with the wheelchair and landed not far away. At the same time, a few guards flew to his side to protect him. The other guards attacked Hei Yen together. Other beasts had their own opponents. Black lava was besieged by so many powerful people, and he was at a disadvantage for a while. His tail was cut several times. You stay here and don't go out. Sima Yue said to the two of them, put little Z on her shoulder, and went out of the protective circle. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai wanted to say that it was too dangerous outside, but she had already gone out, and the two of them couldn't follow. Staying inside at this time was the only way he wouldn't drag her down. Sima Yue flew over, and those people saw that it was little Z on her shoulder and retreated. Yu, they burned my butt with fire. Black lava acted coquettishly to Sima Yue. Burned your butt with fire? Are they bullying us because we don't have fire? Sima Yue snorted coldly, her right hand spread out, and a flame suddenly burst out from her hand. As soon as little birdie came out, it was very excited. Before Sima Yue could speak, it flew out and kept flying in the air. After sleeping for so long, it could finally fly around again. What kind of flame is this? Why is the temperature so high? The people of Ghost Clan shouted. Humph, this is the Nirvana flame, of course the temperature is high. Black lava snorted, don't you like to burn me with fire? Humph, I'll let you have a taste of being burned by fire. Little birdie, go burn their butts. Little birdie happily turned around twice, and then flew a few laps around the people who had just besieged Little Black Dragon. Those people didn't even have time to scream before they directly turned into ashes. Its move shocked all the people present. There was such a powerful flame. This is the flame of the divine bird Vermilion Bird? Dixie Kong looked at Sima Yue, and he regretted provoking her. It seems that you don't know much about me. Sima Yue said, if you know me a little more, you should know that my contract beast is the divine bird Vermilion Bird. What? Perhaps my current strength isn't enough to compete with Dixie family or Anaheim, but it's more than enough to deal with you. Sima Yue said, Dixie Kong, you're very powerful to be able to guess my identity, but at the same time you're too conceited. You're confident that you can easily catch me. It seems that I've made a big mistake. Dixie Kong said, but you've also made a mistake. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Your people are very powerful, but they're all your contract beasts. So, as long as I kill you, they'll naturally disappear. Dixie Kong finished speaking and quickly condensed his spiritual power, attacking Sima Yue. You think that only you know how to use underworld techniques? Sima Yue's hands formed a seal, and her spiritual power turned into a big net that trapped Dixie Kong's spiritual power, and then dissipated into spiritual power. Inescapable net. This is an underworld technique that only Lord Mo knows. How did you know it? Dixie Kong shouted. Of course he taught me. Don't you know that I have a good relationship with him? Sima Yue finished speaking and formed another net, heading towards Dixie Kong's net. Xiao Ruabai and Gongzi Yuan saw Sima Yue throwing out one spirit technique after another, and her spiritual power seemed to be endless. When I met her, she was still a little girl without any spiritual power, and now she has left us far behind. Gongzi Yuan sighed. Indeed, she's beyond our reach. Whether it's her strength or her identity. Xiao Ruabai murmured. Gongzi Yuan looked sideways at Xiao Ruabai, patted her on the shoulder and said, the matter between you and Xiu is already like this. You know yourself, it's not hard to blame her. Besides, she has done so much for you and us. Why don't we just let this matter go? Can we go back? Xiao family can't come back, can we still go back? Xiao Ruabai looked at Sima Yue. We can't go back, Yuan, I can't go back with her. Chapter 1864. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. With the addition of Little Birdie, the beasts fought more easily. Soon the people in the entire courtyard were killed by them. When the last person was killed, Sima Yue came back and removed the protective shield she had set up. Are you all right? We are naturally fine. Gongzi Yuan said, how are you? DC Kong's strength can't hurt me. Sima Yue smiled. Gongzi, the commandery prince has already brought people over. I still have something to do, so I will leave first. Gongzi Yuan stopped her. He wanted to talk about her and Xiao Ruabai, but he didn't know how to say it. Sima Yue looked at Ruabai and said to Gongzi Yuan, Ruabai probably has nowhere to go. You take good care of her. If you want to stay in Diyu, the second prince is a better support. You can go directly to him. Xiao Ruabai opened her mouth but didn't say anything. At this time, the sound of footsteps and voices came from outside the courtyard. Sima Yue nodded to the two and put away the beasts. She came to Huan's side in the air, looked back at the two and slowly disappeared from the air. When the others rushed over, all they saw was a scene of devastation and the two people in the courtyard who had yet to recover from the shock. Young master, are you all right? Gongzi Yuan's attendant ran over and saw his young master standing in the courtyard in a daze. He hurriedly ran over and hugged him, howling, Young master, you have been missing for 2 days. You scared me to death. Young master, are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere? Gongzi Yuan pushed him away and said helplessly, You are hugging me so tightly. How can I talk? Oh, young master. The attendant stepped back and looked at him nervously. Young master. A guard came over. Are you all right? We are fine. Where is this? The guard glanced around. These ruins had experienced a great battle. My friend saved us just now. I will tell Father and Wang Ye about the rest. Gongzi Yuan said. Yes. When Wang Ye found out that you were missing, they also sent their guards out to search for you. The guard said, but we received news that you were here, so we rushed over. Gongzi Yuan guessed that Sima Yue must have asked B to inform them after knowing that they were here. Let's go. Since Wang Ye still sent people to look for us when they're so busy, we should go and tell them that we're safe. After he finished speaking, he looked at Xiao Ruabai. I was caught before I told you what I wanted to say. What she said before she left was what I wanted to say. Come with me. Whether you follow me or the second prince, it's not a good time for you to leave alone. She doesn't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Ruabai was a little hesitant, but when she heard his last sentence, she nodded. Okay. After Sima Yue left, she appeared at the city gate and walked back alone. As soon as she entered the city gate, she saw Murong Hui and others rushing out. She quickly stopped them. Father. Murong Hui saw her and quickly stopped the underworld beast. He jumped down and said, are you okay? Father, I'm fine. Sima Yue shook her head. Didn't I tell someone to inform you that I'm fine and that you don't have to look for me? The 2 guards of the Wang Ye mansion came back and said that you left with someone else. How could they stay there? Wang Ye asked me to come back. I only met Mingda and the others on the way. How could I not come out to look for you when you're gone? Murong Hui said, fortunately you're fine. How could I go with someone so easily? Naturally I'm confident. Besides, I have Huan with me. With him I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. Who caught you? Murong Hui asked. Let's talk about it when we see Wang Ye. Sima Yue said. Murong Hui knew that the person who caught her must have something to do with this matter. He nodded and said, then let's go. When they arrived at the Wang Ye mansion, Gongzi Yuan and the others had not returned yet. The guard led them directly to Wang Ye's study. Diyu Wang Ye, Yu Yan and a few others were discussing things inside. Knowing that she was back, Wang Ye directly asked someone to bring them in. Are you injured? Yu Yan asked. Sima Yue shook her head and bowed to Diyu Wang Ye. Wang Ye, there are some things I need to report to you. Diyu Wang Ye trusted her very much now. Seeing her say this, he said to the others in the study, you can leave first. We'll discuss the rest later. Those people were a little surprised that Sima Yue had such a high status in front of Diyu Wang Ye. It was even better than Murong Hui. They didn't dare to say anything to Wang Ye and all got up and left. After they went out, Yu Yan asked, who caught you? CD Kong. Sima Yue said, from this point of view, the CD family should also be involved in this matter. The CD family? That's right. Sima Yue said, although CD Kong is not the young master of the CD family, he is also the leader of the younger generation. It is definitely not a coincidence that he came here at this time. But we didn't find anyone from the CD family this time. Yu Yan said. Maybe the overall situation has been decided and they are not willing to waste more power to come in. Sima Yue said, but this is just my guess. I don't believe in too many coincidences. Especially when they had brought so many people with them. Your intuition has always been very accurate. Since you said so, we should also pay attention to these things. Dayu Wangye said. The CD family has always been Anaheim's right-hand man. This time, it is also planned by Anaheim's people. It is very likely that the CD family will be involved. Yu Yan also believed what she said. They probably did it secretly before, but now that the main forces of the princess consort have been removed by us, they can't do anything. After we settle these, we don't have to be afraid of the CD family. Well, we don't have to worry about this for now. Sima Yue said. The people that CD Kong brought were all killed. All killed? Yes, so the CD family can't reach here for now. Sima Yue said, but whether we can live well in the future depends on how high CD Kong's position in the CD family is. We are not very clear about the internal affairs of the CD family. Dayu Wangye said. We should know after asking around. Yu Yan said, as long as we pay attention to them in the future, it will be easier to find out. Sima Yue thought of Di Wu Yi in the Spirit Pagoda and asked him if he knew anything. Chapter 1865. After a while, Gongzi Yuan and the others returned. Wang Ye asked someone to bring them in. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai came in and were stunned when they saw Sima Yue. Then they returned to normal and saluted Di Wang Ye together. I've already heard about your situation from It's good that you're safe. Di Wang Ye said. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai didn't know what Sima Yue said, so they couldn't say much. They could only vaguely say, I heard from the people in the county that Wang Ye sent people to look for us when he was so busy. Yuan and Ruabai thank Wang Ye for his concern. It's good that you're fine. You guys have been frightened this time. Go back and have a good rest. Dayu Wangye was asking them to leave. Gongzi Yuan and Xiao Ruabai bowed and left together. Sima Yue watched them leave and stood up to say to Yu Yan, Second Prince, I think you should have heard about the matter between me and Ruabai. If it's possible, I'd like you to take care of her for me. If she comes to me I will, Yu Yan replied. Thank you, Second Prince. Sima Yue said gratefully. You've cured Imperial Father, and it's all thanks to your idea that we were able to resolve this matter. It's my duty to take care of someone for you. Yu Yan said. After the two sides exchanged some pleasantries, Wang Ye sent someone to send her back, while Murong Hui stayed to continue to deal with those things. Sima Yue felt that he would not return to Vast Region after this matter was over. Wang Ye would definitely find a way to make him stay. It wasn't a good idea to keep watching over there. One had to look forward, right? When they returned to the inn, the people from Vast Region surrounded them. When they saw that Sima Yue was fine, they finally relaxed. I told you that Miss would be fine. Zhang Mingda said with a smile. I don't know who was the one who was so nervous that he didn't rest the whole night and insisted on going out to look for him. Fang Yinghan tried to undermine him. Aren't you the same? Zhang Mingda snorted. Miss, who took you away? The fourth family. Sima Yue said. The fourth family? They're probably here for Wang Ye and father. However, it wasn't a big deal. I'm a little tired, so I'm going back to my room to rest. You should take a rest too. Sima Yue said and went to her room. After returning to the house, she set up a barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Little spirit, bring Di Wuyi here, she ordered. Little spirit brought Di Wuyi over. He was still the same as before, there were no changes. If she had not met the people from the fourth family this time, she would not have remembered Di Wuyi whom she had locked up for so long. Just because she couldn't remember, it didn't mean that others couldn't either. During this period of imprisonment, he and her father, Sima Lu Xian, had become chess friends. Mississippi, when Di Wuyi saw her, he still bowed respectfully. Di Wuyi, do you know where we are now? Do you know who I met today? Sima Yue asked. Di Wuyi was a little surprised. Where was this place? How would he know? Sima Yue did not really want him to say it, so she continued, We're in Diu City now. I met CD Kong today. What? Di Wuyi widened his eyes in shock. We're already in the ghost realm? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. CD Kong is ruthless, he didn't do anything to you, right? Di Wuyi asked worriedly. I'm fine, he's not. He wanted to catch me but he lost his life in the end, Sima Yue said. He's dead? Didn't he always bring a lot of people when he went out? He was actually killed too. Yes, he was burned to death by Xiao Burke. Sima Yue said, I called you here today to ask you about the fourth and Diwu family. Diwu Yi kept his shocked heart, and told her everything he knew about the two families. He actually wanted to beg for mercy from the Diwu family, but he knew her position. She would definitely fight to the death with Anaheim. And it was impossible for the family not to follow Anaheim. Sima Yue saw him like that and knew what he was thinking. If your family doesn't stop me in the future, I won't be so ruthless. She was giving him the biggest favor. Diwu Yi was still very grateful. He bowed to her and said, Thank you, Mississippi. You've stayed here for so long. Have you thought about going out? Sima Yue asked. Go out? Diwu Yi's eyes flashed with a touch of passion, and then it disappeared. He shook his head and said, I can't go out. If I go out, they'll recognize me and they'll know your identity. I'm doing quite well here. It's already a blessing that Miss didn't kill me. Sima Yue was a little surprised by his thoughts. She didn't expect him to think this way. You stay here first. If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you go out for a walk. She let Little Spirit take him away after she finished speaking. At this time, Sima Lu Xian walked over. Seeing her frown, he asked, What are you worried about? Father, I'm thinking about the forces around Anaheim. She had quite a lot of forces before she became the Ghost Empress, and she's developed even more these years. I'm afraid it's not that easy to take her down. Sima Yue voiced out her worries. What did he tell you? Sima Lu Xian asked. He told me about the forces around Anaheim. Because he followed you, he knows a lot of things that others don't know. Sima Yue said, I can only say that Anaheim is much more powerful than what we know. You killed her son. She wants to kill you. This hatred can't be resolved. She's so powerful. You're not bad either. Sima Lu Xian rubbed her head. You have so much spirit power from the ancestor. You're also a member of the 9th Underworld clan, and you have such a good relationship with the people of the Underworld. Moreover, the Ghost King is your grandfather after all. If it's really like what your cousin said, then the Ghost King isn't as bad as you think. Father, do you mean that you want me to go and find the Ghost King? Sima Yue asked. You haven't even seen him. How do you know if he's good or not? Sima Lu Xian said with a smile, You always have preconceived notions and your heart will resist accepting some people. Sima Yue pursed her lips. All right, she was indeed a little resistant. So she didn't plan to accept the Sima family from the beginning. Now she didn't plan to accept the Ghost King as her grandfather. I'll see how the situation goes later. If he's really good to Mother, it's okay to accept him. If it's not like what we think, the Ghost Realm doesn't belong to him alone. As long as you're happy. Sima Lu Xian never forced her to do what she wanted to do. Thank you, Father. Sima Yue hugged his arm. When the region competition is over, I'm afraid the peaceful days before will come to an end. Chapter 1866. Nothing else happened in the next 2 days. She had thought that the county competition would be postponed because of the Wang Fei's matter. What surprised Sima Yue even more was that the people who had been taken away after the county competition had also come. Father, they? Murong Hui saw the people she was referring to and understood what she meant. He said, They are all resources. Wang Ye asked them to choose between death and loyalty, and they all made the wise choice. Sima Yue understood. She guessed that they had to swear loyalty to the dynasty so that they could survive. After the last round, there were 152 people. Although the number of people had decreased, the competition had become more exciting. Before the competition began, Yu the Great, Wang Ye, the second prince, and 2 other princes walked in. Although no one knew about the chaos last time, the news still spread later. Therefore, when they saw that Wang Ye and the second prince were in good health, no one was surprised. However, they were still curious about who had cured them. Wang Ye stood on the rostrum and said to the contestants below, Everyone here is an elite that has been carefully selected. Losing even one person is a huge loss. So from today onwards, the rules of the competition will be changed. Don't go overboard and don't kill anyone. Everyone understood that the previous rules were changed by the princess consort. Now that the princess consort's matter was resolved, the rules naturally had to be changed back. He just felt sorry for those who had died. Sima Yue and Fang Yinghan went to draw their own numbers and then went to the referee to register. Morong Shi, a man dressed in black, stood beside her. When he saw her number, he said, I'm looking forward to our competition. Sima Yue looked up at him. Yu Tianran, shall we team up? Yes. Yu Tianran took out his number plate. It was the same number as Sima Yue's 70. I'll be in your care then. Sima Yue smiled at him and left with Zhang Mingda and the others. I didn't expect Mrs. Opponent to be Yu Tianran. Zhang Mingda looked back at him as he spoke and then whispered to Sima Yue, Miss, I heard that Yu Tianran is very powerful. Yes. Mid-Hellish Emperor. Sima Yue said, 7 mid-stage underworld emperors. I didn't think that I would be so lucky to meet one so soon. Miss, from the looks of it he seems to be very interested in you. Fang Yinghan said. That's normal. Zhang Mingda said, now there are a few people who aren't interested in Mississippi. Everyone is probably thinking about Mrs. Strength right now. You're right. Not only are they curious but so are we. Yes. Miss, why don't you tell us how strong you are now? Zhang Mingda asked cheerfully. What are you talking about? You will know when the time comes. Sima Yue did not intend to answer their questions. If she told them now, there was no mystery to speak of. Besides, what if he scared them and made them unable to compete properly? Zhang Mingda looked at Sima Yue and pursed his lips. He complained softly, Miss is so mean. Sima Yue smiled at him. Her meaning was obvious. If I don't tell you, will you hit me? Zhang Mingda felt stifled. Could he? Could he? Of course not. Therefore he could only feel even more stifled. Soon the first batch of people entered. Now there were 60 people in 30 groups. Sima Yue watched the first batch of people compete. Because there was no Wang Fei behind the scenes, everyone's competition was much more gentle. However, it was also much more exciting. It seemed that the region competition had only just begun. Sima Yue watched each group's competition seriously. Some of them might be her next opponent. Although she was very confident in herself, she preferred to know herself and her opponents. An hour later, the first 30 groups finished. The second group of 30 went up. Fang Yinghan and Zhang Mingda were both here. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to advance to the next round. Now the results of vast region were all on Sima Yue. Zhang Mingda and Fang Yinghan came back. Both of them were a little dazed. If it was Zi Ping he could advance to the next round. But he didn't have the chance. Zhang Mingda said with self-blame. It doesn't matter. You have tried your best. Murong Hui said, this result is much better than in previous years. You both met the Emperor of the Underworld. Just work harder in the future. Sima Yue also comforted them. Although we were eliminated, this is much better than we expected before we came. Zhang Mingda said, after a while we can see Mrs. Competition. I'm looking forward to it. Sima Yue glanced at him. This guy's mood changed too quickly. More than an hour later, the second batch was completely over. The remaining 16 groups entered the realm of emptiness after receiving their talismans. Because the number of people was only half of the previous group, everyone could watch their competition better. After Yu Tianran entered the realm of emptiness, he flew in the air and waited for Sima Yue. When he saw Sima Yue walk in, he waved his hand and said, I know you can fly. Sima Yue smiled. With a tap of her toes, she flew into the air and faced Yu Tianran. I guessed correctly. Yu Tianran said, Miss Murong, please. Sima Yue saw that he didn't call out his contract beast, and she didn't call out He Yen either. The two of them fought with their underworld skills. When the people outside saw that she didn't call out He Yen, they were very surprised. They thought that she would use He Yen all the way to the end. Look at the speed of her underworld skills, it's so fast. Those underworld skills seem to be very easy. This was the first time that everyone saw her use underworld skills, and they were surprised by her speed. Look at her underworld skills, they are not of an ordinary grade. Yu Tianran is a mid-stage emperor of the underworld, but she doesn't seem to be at a disadvantage. It seems that she really has the ability, and she doesn't just rely on her contract beast. Sima Yue was in the realm of emptiness, so she couldn't hear the discussions outside. However, she could guess what their expressions would be when they saw her using underworld skills. This Yu Tianran's ability was not weak, and his speed of using underworld skills was faster than the average person. In order to not expose too much of her ability, she could only deal with him at the beginning. The difference between them wasn't very big. After that, when there was a gap, she teleported and appeared behind Yu Tianran. She placed her long sword on his shoulder and ended the battle. Yu Tianran hadn't finished using his underworld skills, and he felt the cold temperature of the long sword. He was a little unwilling, but he still dispersed his spiritual power and said, I lost. Sima Yue kept her long sword. Thank you for letting me win. Yu Tianran turned around and clasped his hands towards Sima Yue. You really have hidden your abilities well. Tell me the truth, you're more powerful than this, right? Chapter 1867. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Yu Tianran could feel that Sima Yue was holding back when she was fighting with him. Sima Yue smiled at him and said, "This is a secret." After that, she took out the talisman and crushed the realm of emptiness. Yu Tianran was fascinated by her smile. After she went out, he took out the talisman and went out. The two went to the referee to register and then went back. "Miss Morong," Yu Tianran called her. Sima Yue looked back at him. "Is there anything else?" "There are two people, Jiang Yuan and LV Liangshan. I'm afraid they are hiding their strength. If you encounter them, be careful," Yu Tianran said. "Well, I know, thank you." Sima Yue felt his kindness and thanked him before leaving. She had noticed the two people he mentioned before. At that time she felt that these two people should be hiding their strength. But so what? In terms of hiding strength, who could compare with her? Gongzi Yuan was in the last batch and won by a narrow margin and advanced to the next round. In the next two rounds of the competition, 76-38 and 38-19, Sima Yue advanced without any suspense. When 19-10, because there was one more person, there was another person who advanced directly. Before Sima Yue went to draw lots, she said to Emoji, who was sitting next to her, "If I get an empty number in this round, I will be in the top 10. Our agreement will be reached." "What if you don't get it?" Emoji asked. "Then I will fight into the top 10. Anyway, the ending will be the same," Sima Yue said. "Then let's wait and see." Emoji smiled faintly. He was actually looking forward to it. Later, Sima Yue went to draw a number. Seeing her number, she was not disappointed. Sure enough, it was not so easy to draw an empty number. The first group enters the realm of emptiness. The referee shouted. Sima Yue was not number one, but she was also resting in the rest area. While he was watching the match, he saw a person running in from outside in a hurry. To be able to enter even after the venue was closed, this person's identity was definitely not ordinary. She thought that this person would come to Wangye, but she didn't expect that he would go directly to Vast Region, come to Emoji's side, and whisper something in his ear after saluting. After listening to his words, Emoji's face changed slightly, then he nodded and said, "I know," and sent him away. Sima Yue was guessing in her heart what he was so concerned about. Before she could think of an answer, she heard the referee call for the second group of players to enter the realm of emptiness. Sima Yue took the talisman and went in. Her opponent was Jiang Yuan, whom Yu Tianran had mentioned to her before. Jiang Yuan looked at Sima Yue and said, "I didn't expect to meet you. It seems like my luck isn't that good." Sima Yue smiled. "You also hid your strength, didn't you? I don't know if my strength is enough in front of you. No matter what, I have to give it a try." Jiang Yuan had noticed Sima Yue's strength for a long time, and it was definitely not like what she showed. He didn't expect to be so unlucky to meet her at this time. But it was not his personality to give up directly, so he still intended to fight with all his strength. "Please." Sima Yue waved her hand. The other party did not call for a contract beast, so she did not call He Yen out. Just like the previous two times, she only used her own spiritual power. Jiang Yuan's strength was much stronger than Yu Tianran's. Although the two seemed to be about the same before, when he released his strength, his combat effectiveness was 2 levels higher. However, this was not much of a difference for Sima Yue. She could easily deal with it without exposing her strength as an underworld senior. The more Jiang Yuan fought, the more shocked he became. He had overestimated her strength, but he didn't expect that she was much stronger than he thought. If he didn't pay attention to his combat ability, he would have been beaten down by her long ago. Sima Yue glanced outside and saw that Emoji looked a little anxious. She wanted to end it quickly, so she changed her underworld skill and used the inescapable net that she had used before. The huge inescapable net trapped Jiang Yuan, and it slowly shrank under Sima Yue's control. After destroying his defensive layer, it stopped. Jiang Yuan felt the power contained in the net. If it continued to shrink, he would be seriously injured. He wanted to use teleportation to leave, but he found that the space he was in had been frozen by her, and he couldn't leave. He had no choice but to admit that he had lost. Sima Yue dispersed the inescapable net, said that she had offended him, and crushed the talisman to leave the realm of emptiness. Emoji recognized Sima Yue when she used the inescapable net. She actually knew the underworld skill of the old ancestor. The old ancestor taught her but not him. Therefore, when Sima Yue came back after registering, she was faced with Moji's somewhat sad eyes. "What's wrong with you?" Sima Yue asked. "The old ancestor taught you underworld skills," Emoji said. "Yes, when we were in the human world he said that if I taught him how to make tea he had to teach me something, so he taught me a lot of underworld skills," Sima Yue said. "A lot?" Emoji was not calm. Well, did that person look for you for something?" Sima Yue changed the topic. Looking at him like this, you probably didn't teach him much before. This feeling was really like snatching a child's candy. "Well, I don't think I can wait until your competition is over." Emoji's expression became serious when he talked about business. "There's a situation at the Nirvana River, I have to rush over immediately. And her competition still had several rounds before it was over. "I'll go with you," Sima Yue blurted out without thinking. "But what about your competition?" "I'll discuss it with my father, we won't compete in the following competitions," Sima Yue said. "Now that we're in the top 10, it's already good for vast region. As for the final ranking, it doesn't matter much." She didn't know why, but she always felt that if she didn't go to the Nirvana River this time, she would regret it. Emoji actually felt that this kind of competition was meaningless. Since she said so, he agreed. "Then you can discuss it with Wang Ye and see what he thinks." Sima Yue went to Murong Hui's side and told him about this matter and her plan. Murong Hui only hesitated for a while before agreeing. If she wanted to do her own things, he would not stop her. He took her to find Yu Wang Ye and told them about her leaving. "Are you really leaving?" Yu Wang Ye asked. Sima Yue nodded. She had already made a decision. After the region competition, we will let the top-ranked people go to the imperial capital to participate in the dynasty competition. If you can come back in time, I still hope you can participate." Yu Wang Ye said. "I'll leave a place for you here." Sima Yue wanted to say no, but Wang Ye's words made her change her mind. He said, "If you want to go to the imperial capital, it's better to have an identity." You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.